all my little friends with all their little dreams.
Aye. Well, after spending about £1 million of our money looking into whether there are any backhanders in football, it's discovered that the game is scrupulously honest and there's nothing to see here.
What?
Next time, the same team will look at whether bears go in the woods. Well, there's no evidence that they do, but we're keeping an open mind. A man posing as a woman in a veil slipped past airport security. Yeah, that's right, I forgot. There's no such thing as airport security. There's alleged to be a top-level cover-up of the Loans for Honours scandal. Files gone missing, documents shredded, so no guilt there then.
Yeah.
And a footballer was fined for swearing at a football match, which is like prosecuting a man for getting excited at a dogging orgy. You ever heard of anything so silly? Fined for swearing at a football match. What, in case he offended the delicate sensibilities of the baying throng in the stands? Oh, come on.
I went to a football match once and there was kids swearing, like little kids, and I was so shocked. Honestly shocked. I couldn't believe it.
It's just silly. Everyone swears at a football match. It's part of it. It's like pie, a beer beforehand, and a quick swear. Most people actually stand up in order to project their swearing more efficiently. If they're sat down and they want to have a good swear, they'll stand up and gesticulate. Can you turn the telly off? Because I can't concentrate if the telly's on. I'll just sit here and watch the telly, even if it is the parliamentary channel.
Yeah, that is bad. That distracted you. I was made to crash the fences once at a football match. That was quite awful.
You would what?
Well, a boyfriend took me and he said, every time they score, we've got to get up and, like, crash the fence, because that's how we show we're really happy.
What does that mean?
Well, sort of bash it and sort of sing a stupid chant. It was really pointless.
Go on, sing a stupid chant.
Well, no, we had to sing Steve McMahon's Barmy Army, but in that kind of, idiotic way. Which, I didn't really give it much gusto, to be honest.
I've always... Oh, hang on.
Oh. What was that? Dinner?
Windy pops?
Little bit, yeah.
What did you have?
Oh, I've got this giant ball of solid matter right in the middle of my stomach. It's not going down.
Was it a pie?
No, it was just a giant steaming pile of heavy carbohydrates.
Sounds delicious. Got your pizza ready?
Well, it will be.
Will it?
Christmas pizza on the way. Only 2 days to go. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe that? It's Christmas Day on Monday. Isn't that scary?
I know.
I'll be doing an hour into Christmas Day.
You will?
Yeah, I'll be full of yo-ho-ho.
Alex will be too? You'll both be cheering each other along?
I know, because if there's one thing that Alex is, it's cheery, right?
It doesn't get much merrier.
That'll cheer me up on my way home from midnight mass.
Are you going to midnight mass?
I am, yes.
Is it the only time of the year that you'll actually go to church? That's a yes.
Well, I always aim to go more.
Right, but you never do.
It is quite difficult on this shift.
Oh, please. The church is always open, unless they block the doors.
Yeah, but if I go for Sunday service, it's kind of 10 in the morning. We finished on air here at 1. I don't get out of here till 2-ish.
Right. So that's how much you love Jesus, is it?
I should be able to worship Jesus even in my own home.
Yeah, exactly. We should be able to do it. I should be able to do it right now, as I'm sitting here. Or, whichever deity happens to be your choice. Wouldn't want to offend anybody.
The shops are open all week now, it doesn't matter.
I went through central London today on the tube, and it was significantly quieter. It was like a Sunday.
It's really nice.
I thought it was going to be mad on a stick today, because the previous Saturdays, if you go into town on the tube on a Saturday, it's pretty horrific. I go in at around about 1 o'clock, and it's awful. Just crammed in, especially on the Piccadilly line. Nightmare. But there was virtually no one on there today. And they were going on and on about... well, first of all, they were saying this is the worst year for high street sales in the history of shops, they said. And neglecting to add at the bottom, by the way, everyone's bought everything on the internet, which is also shops, right?
Do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, most high street shops have got their own internet service, don't they?
I did.
So people aren't actually going past the doors, but they're sitting at home, saving the planet, and doing it on the World Wide Web.
Did you do that?
For
You
what?
haven't bought any gifts yet, have you? Are you still waiting?
No, I did buy gifts, and I bought them by hand.
Oh, did
In
you?
shops, yeah. I personally am propping up the retail market in this country. But so they said that. There's the big headlines of disaster in the retail trade and, oh no, everyone's going to die. But everyone's been spending as much. It's just that we've been having it delivered and not going to buy it, which is, an excellent way forward, because the first thing that you do when you walk into a shop is you walk through that blast of hot air at an open doorway.
Oh, I love that.
Well, yeah, it's nice, but it's not exactly doing Mother Nature any good, is it?
No, but it's keeping us nice and toasty from the cold.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think about it, it's about the silliest thing that we do. I mean, switching a light off in the hallway when you go into your living room is going to make the slightest bit of difference, because every shop in the land has got their doors wide open and are heating the pavement outside.
Well, that's true. I've never thought about
That's
it
just
like that
daft.
before.
I mean, that's one of the reasons when you go into the centre of town from outside, that it's much warmer in the centre of town, because basically the shops are heating the centre of London. Isn't that shocking?
Do we think they really are, though?
Well, I'm telling you they are. I'm sitting here telling you they are loose.
Well, that's nice. I wish I'd done more of my shopping in town.
Well, I'd quite like to hear from anybody who was in, Oxford Street and who was mad enough to want to do it today, because there didn't seem to be that many on the tube. But the newsman on this station and the other one that I was on today.
Probably Heart, our sister station, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. They wouldn't have me.
I imagine you were listening in, though.
While I was at work.
Supporting the team.
That's right. They were saying exactly the same thing, that, it was the biggest shopping day in history, they were saying. More money was spent today than has ever been the case since the invention of coins. So how can the two be right? How can, on the one hand, nobody be spending any money in shops anymore, and on the other, it'd be the biggest day of transactions since we stopped bartering with goats.
Well, I heard it was the clothes sales that were down this year, and that was the big thing. But other retail stuff was up.
Why clothes shops don't get it, I really don't understand. And I've thought this for the longest time. When are winter clothes in the stores? July, immediately after the sales finish, right? When is it cold? December, January, at which point they're selling all of the winter
All the spring
clothes.
stuff.
In a couple of weeks, all the summer clothes will be in the stores.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just stupid.
Except, though, the sales will be on, and then we should get the winter stuff.
Yes, but that's good for us, but it's not good for them.
Well, no.
And it happens every year. It's like the council's being surprised when ice hits the road. Oh gosh, we weren't expecting that. It only happens every year. Well, you think if you're running a clothes store, then you'd have a little meeting with everybody else, and you say, well, why don't we just shift the sales in line with the seasons? Because people don't want to buy a winter coat in July, do they? So that's why they're not selling.
We think ahead a little bit too much.
Maybe they're a bit light. A bit light in the shoes. Is that the right phrase?
What do you mean, light in the shoes?
I think maybe that's something else, isn't it? Now they're which also applies in many cases. But no, I think they're one button short of a fly in the rag trade.
Right.
Because that's just daft. Why sell all of your product for half price at the very moment when everybody wants to buy it, year after year after year, and then look at each other wringing their hands, going, "We're not making any money. We don't get it."
The good thing is, though, is that you never see people going out in their summer clothes in the snow, on the whole.
Well, unless you're living in Newcastle.
Well, yes, or you're moronic.
What are you saying?
Well,
It's a good
you
job.
do see the odd nutter, don't you, with their shorts on?
Yeah.
And I always think, what's that all about? Why
Well,
are
in
you doing
Newcastle,
that?
there seems to be this thing where where it's not considered manly, even if you're a woman, to wear a coat. What's that about? I mean, in Scotland, they don't have that. In the south of England, they don't have that either. But in Newcastle alone,
Yeah.
well, in Leeds as well, there's just this stripe across the middle of the country,
Yeah.
where it's very non-you to go outside with anything that's approaching, warm apparel. They just don't do it. like they're what is it? It's like a hard thing. But then women wouldn't have that, really, would they?
But the women do it too, don't they? in
That's what I'm
Newcastle?
saying.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the little skirts, no tights. It's extraordinary.
Tiny piece of tinfoil that they're using as a dress, and that's it. That's what they go out in. And vertiginous heels, tottering about, smashed out their minds.
They can't feel a thing.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that. There is that, yeah. Is it that they're too tight to actually use a coat check? Or are they too poor to buy a coat?
They're just too drunk.
Or what?
No, I don't. I don't.
Booze
Think,
up before they leave home. So it's the central heating.
Or is
no,
it
I do
or
think
they've
it
even
is the
left.
thing that they don't want to pay for the coat.
Or is it a sex thing?
Have it in.
Because you can't see all of their lumps and bumps
No.
when they're wearing a coverall.
Who cares about that when it's freezing, though?
I think it's sex and booze. I think Lucy's wrong.
No, I definitely think it's
You're
paying
too
for the
posh to
coat.
know.
Well, Lucy's bought me a Christmas present, which is very embarrassing, because I haven't got her anything at all. And speaking of sex and booze, there's only two things that could actually be in a cylindrical tube that's, well... About how long would you say that was, Alex?
We're looking at 10 inches.
It took me ages to find that.
Yeah, I was going to help you out, but I didn't want to blow you. Blow your joke.
So that's either a thin bottle of booze or it's an implement of some kind. But I can't imagine that Lucy would get me one of those.
I don't think so.
No, not at all. And the world's tiniest Christmas card.
I didn't want to waste too much paper.
Oh,
you know.
thanks very much.
I was thinking of the planet.
Yeah. But I didn't get you anything. This is very embarrassing.
No, that's okay, because when
Aw.
you open it, I don't think you'll feel embarrassed.
Oh, right.
No, no, I
Oh,
don't
well,
mean
I'll
that.
just
in
put
a-
it straight in the bin now then.
No,
shall
but
I?
yeah,
I'm going to be
you'd already-
disappointed.
you
Oh,
already
no.
announced there'd be no presents for anyone.
Yeah.
So I thought something little, something I know you'll like.
Got a tree, though.
You bought a tree.
Yeah, it's
but you
about-
bought that for yourself.
It's about 10 feet tall. It's the hugest tree I've ever had.
10
I had
feet?
I had to get a ladder to put the things on the top of it.
Is that the one that's supposed to go to Trafalgar Square and ended up in your living room?
And the big debate is, what did you put on the top? Angel or star?
Well, on the very top, there's, as there would be in nature, a bird.
Really?
Yeah, an actual real bird that I caught in the wild,
Tied it to the top of the tree.
stapled its little feet
It's a
to the
lovely
top of the
pigeon.
tree. Yeah.
Taylor's budgie.
It's been flapping like mad ever since.
Nice.
Decorating the tree in its own special way. No, it was, like a little gold birdie thing with feathery tail, with a star immediately beneath it.
Right. It's quite unusual. A bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
A
Is
previous
it
radio
designer?
station. A previous radio station that I worked at, the breakfast show host used to be super extra double famous, and every day some firm, well, they'd be fighting at each other outside in order to back a lorry up to the building to pour free things through the door, just in the hope that he would mention them on the air. And one year they came in, some fellow, I can't remember what it was, and they decorated the studio like not even Santa's grotto was decorated with this much stuff. It doubled the weight of the studio just by the decorations that this Christmas company had come in and put on it. It was dripping. You've never seen anything like it. It was like doing a show from Lapland. And at the end of the year, nobody wanted it. Everyone just sort of, bits of it was starting to fall down, and so I got myself a refuse sack and started stuffing it in, and about three of these black bags of this stuff later, the studio was stripped bare, and so that's what I've been using ever since. And it was expensive gear too. Looks lovely.
I bet.
So yeah, and last
that
week
tree outside has to go back to John Lewis, so don't think about it.
And last week you asked me the silliest question in the world. You said, "And what's if you're going to get a tree?
What's your theme?"
What's the theme?"
Yeah.
Well,
Yours is...
the theme this year is Christmas.
A new year.
by working with people.
It's a call in Bolton.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
My name is Darth.
It sounds like he's you what?
My name is Darth.
It sounds like he's talking from the smallest room in the house, doesn't it? It sounds like he's ready to do the psychedelic yodel. Have you talked to God yet?
Actually, I'm talking into a teapot.
Right.
It's the right effect.
Teapots. Now, that's a thing that people don't have anymore. I went into a shop on London...
I was talking
London's poshest Regent Street,
Excuse me.
and went into a china shop there.
Hello.
And you
Hello.
wouldn't... Do you know, have had any
My
idea...
name is Darth. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, Darth.
Right.
Do you have any idea how much a teapot costs?
Would you mind?
I'll tell you, £625. Can you believe that?
£625.
What?
Yeah, for a teapot.
Oh my God.
Yes. Hey, guess who your dad is? This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott, and we'll go with Windsor. Hello, Kev. Oh, Kev. Windsor. Gone.
Who's
Well,
a bit
it's a
scared?
fabulous start of the day. Scared? What's there to be scared of? This is just a little happy family here.
Well, I know.
Oh. Well, I hope the response is great tomorrow, by the way, because it will be Christmas.
I think it will be.
Christmas.
You know what you'll get, though?
What?
Lots of people ringing you on their way back from the pub.
Great. You know what I want to do tomorrow is just, I want to do calls just about Christmas, about presents that you've had, about the worst Christmas you've had, the best Christmas you've had, the build-up to Christmas, the day itself, the aftermath.
The detox.
Yeah, all of that. Just calls about, just about Christmas. Wouldn't that be great if I could get that? Does anybody think that there's any chance of me getting through a whole show with, actual cooperation and encouragement from this audience?
No.
No. Not
You
really.
might get a drunk audience.
But, well, that's fine. I don't mind. Like that last
Yeah.
guy, he was okay.
Yeah.
I gave him as much airtime as Ian would have done. I think he's one of Ian's, isn't he?
I suspect so. He's having a dark Christmas.
Where's Ian, by the way? That guy never shows up for work.
Who, Ian?
Yeah.
Well, he does seem to be here most of the time, actually. It's just
Nonsense.
never when
he's
you
never
are.
on holiday. He's always on holiday. Where's he gone this time? Somewhere lovely, I
He did
bet.
something you'd never
his
do on
giant
Friday.
salary. What?
He met a load of his listeners.
Oh, I heard about that. Oh, well, I heard he was going to do that. I was sitting in my car. My mouth was on my steering wheel. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was. I initially thought that this was a joke. Right? He's saying that he was going to go to a pub and that listeners. He was alerting listeners to a place that he would be ahead of time.
Yeah.
Not that he had been previously, so that only listeners with access to a time machine could go and visit him. But he was telling them where he was going to be.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is he out of his mind?
Well, I think so, yes.
Is he dead?
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
And then we met the listeners coming in.
We?
Well, they were here, coming in their droves.
They were in the building?
Yeah, Mr. Lister was in.
In the building?
Yeah.
Security let them in the building?
Oh, yes.
On this floor, where you had to have a special key?
In fact, where you're sitting now, I suspect. Was it in the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was,
I
Alex
hope
was
none of
here.
them
I
were
was
sit-
ferrying them in and out.
I hope none of them are sitting on this seat.
One of them did.
Because it's bad enough sitting on the seat on the tube, isn't it? I mean, you take your trousers in your own hands when you sit on the seat, because you've got no idea who's been sat there previous to you or what they've been doing in their clothes.
Well, the worst is when it's really
true.
warm. When you sit down.
Well,
and
no,
sit,
no.
it's really
The
warm.
worst is when you've sat there for a couple of minutes and you realise that you're sitting in damp.
Oh, that is horrible.
That's happened several times.
And you realise that no one else has been sitting in that seat and you couldn't understand why it was free.
Yeah.
And it was just your luck to get it.
And no, well, or what's slightly less worse than that is when there's chewing gum there, and you sit down blindly without actually looking, and everyone else in the carriage knows it's chewing gum there because they've been sitting there looking at it, tutting under their breath, thinking, what kind of a moron would leave that there? But not one single person will embarrass themselves by piping up and saying, excuse me.
Don't sit there.
I know. They'll watch me do it and then pretend that their minds aren't reeling with the possibilities.
Well, they're probably secretly laughing, aren't they?
Well, that's just... There's something that I
They're
don't
thinking,
understand.
I'm glad I didn't sit there, but look, that fool's gone and sat in it.
Well, like booby-trapping a seat and watching while events unfold and then chuckling to yourself. If you're 10, I get that. But putting it there and then leaving and never knowing if anyone
if you purposefully do it,
Yeah.
yeah, that's horrible. That's just pure.
Well, how could
isn't
you?
it?
How could it be there if it hadn't been purposefully put there?
Well, I was thinking of somebody.
Maybe someone else had sat down on a different train, had it stuck to their bottom, and then sat down on your seat.
Well, you know that's silly.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah,
Now I think
that's
about
not going to work.
So, did anybody go to the shops today? Hey, all the numbers and everything have been stripped out of the studio.
Have they?
I don't. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, there's not a single number in here.
What,
I
not
don't
even
know.
0870?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Look
because I've
up.
never said it.
Look up.
It's
I
0870.
don't think I've ever said it. Oh yeah, that's right. Shall I start saying it?
Yeah, go on.
Well, I would be quite interested in because on the one hand, the news is saying that it was the biggest sales day in history. That people went out and were spending money like drunken sailors, throwing it around. They were like a one-armed juggler. They were just tossing it all over everywhere. But on the other hand, I was on the tube, and there was hardly anybody on the tube, either going or coming out of town. So either they were all on the bus or on the car, or they walked in, or they're lying to us. So I'd be quite curious to know, because if you put a gun to my head, you wouldn't have got me down Oxford Street and Regent Street.
What if it was outside of Oxford Street?
Well, yeah, I'm curious. I mean, people would have gone to, I mean, they didn't go to the local corner shop, did they?
Tesco.
They went to some place where shops congregate.
Yeah.
Huddling together.
I did it today.
Did you?
Guess how long I was in the queue for?
Well, which shop?
Tesco.
Tesco?
Yeah, I had
Why
to
did
get
you go
some
there?
last-minute bits. And it's nearby to where we live, so...
You see, are they advertising with us?
Not as far as I'm aware. But I'm sure you'll say something that's very complimentary to them, just in case they were.
Well, the thing with Tesco's, and I don't know that it's true, but this is what I heard a long while ago, and it's sort of I made my decision about that shop then. It's Lady Shirley Porter's gaff, isn't it? Doesn't she get money directly from? She's the Tesco heiress, right?
Oh, right.
Shirley Porter. And when I found that out, that was where I made my decision about that shop straight away.
Never again.
No,
you said.
well, see, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to leave it vague.
Oh, yeah, very vague.
Well, at least I wasn't going to say it. I just said I'd made my decision. I was going to leave it hang there. But, of course, you had to fill in the gaps. You're completely out of control. If you hadn't bought me a Christmas present, you'd be fired.
Okay.
You know what? Have you got any old phones? I have old phones, and I sometimes go back and look at them wistfully and think, you know what? They're actually not bad. They make phone calls, and that's it. But that's all you really ever need, right? No one needs to use their phone as a Bluetooth device. What is that anyway?
I don't use it.
No one has any idea. Or G packets or whatever.
that?
I've got no clue. I mean,
I've never heard of that.
their phones come with a with a manual. It's as thick as the phone book now, and about 5 pages in, I just can't be bothered anymore. Who's ever going to use all that stuff?
No
But
reason.
old phones, people don't want them because they don't have video machines and games, business, and all of that guff. Do you want to write the rest of what you were beginning to write there?
Yeah.
News out at... Because I have to structure this around that. 29:25. Check your watches, ladies and germs. Well, we're trying to raise money for the National Missing Persons Helpline, which is a very good thing to do at this or any other time of year. And old phones are what can do it for us. For every phone donated to the National Missing Persons Helpline, they will receive £5, and you can't beat that with a stick, because it's just collecting dust in the back of your drawer, your wardrobe, or whatever it is you keep the old crap you're not using anymore. And it's no good to you, because you don't want that you don't want that old phone, because it would be social death, am I right? Taking out a phone that's thicker than a piece of paper, people just don't want to do that anymore. Lucy's lost an eye, either lost her eyelashes, or it's a lens.
It was just my lens.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything more embarrassing these days than taking out an old phone?
Exactly. So, if you donate it to, well, not us exactly, but we will do it for you. If you go to lbc.co.uk, full details of how you can do that. And as I said, for every phone donated, the National Missing Persons Helpline will receive £5. If you act today, you can make a difference. The LBC 97.3 mobile phone campaign with ITV London Tonight, Metro, O2, the Mayor of London, and Phone Back. So that's lbc.co.uk. And we are happy to support it. What are you laughing at?
You reading out the mayor. You love the mayor, don't you?
Thanks for everybody.
I just love the way he speaks. The Mayor of London. Thanks for all the money. Bought some fabulous furniture. Happy Christmas and toodle pip. Is he back from Venezuela yet?
I don't know.
His tan must be great. I've got no idea why I did it in that accent. We'll be back.
Christmas hints from Babe.
Despite being in the throes of the biggest budget crisis in its history, you know that they take, I know I've said this before, but it warrants repeating, because it's such a staggering figure. Do you know they take £1 billion in tax from us every day? £1 billion every day. Isn't that incredible? That just is beyond belief. And it's going up and up and up. We've got the biggest tax rises in the Western world over the last year. It's gone up something like 9% in 12 months.
Has it? Good
Staggering.
grief.
I know. It's just on and on and on, and they're taking and taking and taking, and what are we getting in return? No one has any idea. But despite pouring the ever more gigantic amounts into the NHS, incredibly, they're still in the red by ever larger amounts, and no one can figure out why. They're just throwing money at it, presumably so they can stand up in Parliament saying, well, of course, we're spending more money than the previous administration, and it's gone up by the following amount, and but it's not actually making any difference. So despite being in the throes of the biggest budget crisis in its history, a £1.3 billion deficit has forced hospital closures, sent doctors abroad to work, and now threatens 29 accident and emergency units. It seems there's still money in the system to be spent on projects that most of us find at best baffling. Here's a list of some of the things that they've spent money on. And I've got lists of, sort of end-of-year incredulous, like incredible end-of-year stories. You will be incredulous at these incredible end-of-year stories. But this is one of them. This is just the NHS, what they've done this year. Some of the things. £2.5 million they've spent towards a tango and trampoline scheme.
What?
Yes. £500,000 on 17 works of art. And a survey to find out if people like them. If you go into the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, it looks kind of like, it looks a bit like the Arts Hotel in Barcelona. It's like a five-star modern place, because there's bits of sculpture everywhere, and like courtyard gardens and, paintings on the wall. None of which you're actually looking at because you're worried out your mind because you're in hospital. Because either you're ill, in which case you don't really want to and can't be bothered looking at art because you're too busy.
Maybe it's for family members.
You're too busy worrying if the machine that goes beep, beep, is going to stop. I had a near-death...
Oh, no.
Yeah, you remember
You're not going to make people feel really depressed now.
No, of course not. This is all, with levity and light. We're all smiling, right?
Yes.
My recent near-death experience. Well, they hoik you up onto one of those machines that goes beep, beep, beep. And I'm willing the machine to keep going beep, because if it stops going beep, that means that you're about to die.
Did you stop breathing?
Because your
heart...
heart...
see if it changed?
Well, of course not.
Oh.
Because I didn't want it to change. So they spent £500,000 on 17 works of art, and then spent another gigantic amount to find out whether people like them. I mean, that's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Who cares if they like them or don't?
They spent £2,500 of our money on tattoo removal for one bloke. I mean, if you're that daft to get that many tattoos...
That's your own problem,
Well,
isn't it?
exactly. Why are they removing tattoos on the NHS?
I thought you had to pay for... I thought it cost a lot of money
Yeah,
to
me
get that
too.
on
I mean, if you've got, like, a swastika on your forehead...
it. You're an idiot.
Yes. But if, say, you're in, you're in finance, and you went to a stag do, and you woke up naked, strapped to a lamppost with a...
Well,
with a swastika tattooed on your forehead,
unlucky, isn't
then
it?
that would be unlucky, yeah. But even so, you should be able to buy your own removal service.
Oh,
They spent worse than that. They spent £4.5 million on buttock lifts.
What?
Yes,
What, for the J-Lo bum?
buttock lifts and breast enlargements. £4.5 million. I'm amazed you could get that on the NHS.
But there surely can't be any problem if you have a sagging bottom, I mean, to your health, can there? I mean, I understand boobs, right? Your boobs get too big, it gives you bad back, possibly.
Yeah.
But your bottom, well, just go to the gym. Or eat less.
At this time of year, Lucy, a little bit more open-heartedness from you wouldn't go amiss.
Sorry.
They spent £40,000 on poetry to boost staff morale. Hey, what's your favourite poem? There was a young man from Australia. You don't want me to finish that one, do you?
Is it rude?
Well, there was a young man from Australia. Does it sound like it might be rude to you?
Yes, possibly.
They spent £500,000 on a health education soap opera. And £75,000 on teaching old age pensioners how to wear slippers.
What?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. They've got our money and they're going to spend it. Hey, Peter.
How are you?
I am all right, mate.
I wanted to workshop, but first of all, I want you to take a deep breath. Season of goodwill, so kindly wish Mr. Livingston a very Merry Christmas.
It's a very Merry Christmas, Mr. Livingston.
No, in your right voice.
Mr. Livingston, a very Merry Christmas. I'll send you £1. Keep up the good work.
Right. Couple of things. The National Health, as far as I'm concerned, is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes.
Maybe I'm lucky, but I had 4 different investigations last week.
Investigations, eh?
At Kingston Hospital. I've never, ever knocked the National Health. I think it's a fantastic organisation. They've done marvellous for me, and I'd like to say a big thank you to the Kingston Hospital Trust for looking after me.
Well, it's not like we should be on our hands and knees thanking the NHS every time they help us. That's their job. We're spending billions of pounds for them to do that.
You don't hear the good side, like you're taking the mickey out of old age pensioners' slippers, but apparently if you read the stories, because a lot of people put it on the wrong way, and they fall downstairs.
Oh, come on. How can there be a wrong way to wear slippers?
Well,
you put them on your feet.
Well, apparently that's one of the reasons. Anyway, put you right on the Tesco thing.
Yes.
Leslie Porter, the late Leslie Porter, the husband of Shirley Porter, whose father was Jack Cohen, sold out Tesco's many years ago, so Mrs. Porter doesn't get any money from Tesco.
Oh, right.
Okay, so that's...
Oh, that makes me feel much better.
And also, I didn't realise till tonight that the end of the world is due in 2 days' time. I walked in tonight to the supermarket like an idiot to go and buy some things, and spent an hour in the queue trying to pay for them.
Oh, I see. So you're, okay, I get it. So everyone's cleared the shelves as though the shops will never be open again.
I've never seen so many people with shopping trolleys completely piled high as if the shops are never going to open again. All I went in for was, I think, a packet of biscuits and some dog food, but I had to wait an hour to pay for it.
That doesn't sound like a very nice Christmas dinner, does it? Packet of biscuits and some dog food?
Well, no, the biscuits were for me and the dog food was for my dog.
Oh, you have a dog? Oh, that's nice.
And also, Lucy's not telling you the truth.
What?
She's not going to midnight mass. Midnight mass is a Catholic. It starts at 12 o'clock. She's going to a church at 11:30. How can that be midnight mass?
How do you know that?
I'm a mind reader.
How does he know that, Luce?
He asked me before.
Oh, you,
He talked to you.
Oh, I see, right.
So I thought maybe she should take her mobile phone with her, and at about 11:45 she could put on a mobile phone and play a carol to us down the phone from the church.
Oh, you're going tomorrow? Yeah, this is, of course, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Why don't you open your mobile phone, and when you're singing, most of
Oh, come, all ye faithful,
in tune, lustily and heartily, then you can...
You could have a little blast.
Yeah, you could... I'm going to bring in the tune tomorrow that is Christmas through and through. There was this... what's your favourite carol there, Peter?
In the bleak midwinter.
Oh, right, it's
Frosty winds may moan, earth hard as iron, water like a stone.
It's just
What
happy,
shall I
happy,
give
happy
this world
over
I
your
am?
place, isn't it?
If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. It's lovely. I know that from when I was a very young man, many years ago.
So you're a town crier. This must be a busy time of year for you.
Well, no, I'm busy all the time, but I have been busy. But I've been, this week I've been doing the man in red.
Have you?
Ho, ho, ho!
And how did he...
Little Nick, what would you like for Christmas?
How did he feel about it?
Very good. The children are very funny. One little girl asked me for a new dog, and I asked her what was wrong with the old one, and she said he'd died and gone to heaven.
Oh,
And
well, one of those funny pet dying stories.
And another little boy said to me, "You're not real. I saw the real Father Christmas in Harrods yesterday."
Harrods, have they got their decorations up yet? Because I went a couple of weeks ago, there wasn't a single
they have
thing.
now, yes.
Really?
Yes.
They kept it, they were pretty late.
What kind of pizza are you going to have on Christmas Day?
What kind of what?
Pizza.
Oh, pizza.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. It's going to have the following ingredients. Prawns.
Yes.
Garlic, of course.
I like both of those.
Yeah. Peppers, onions.
Yes.
3 different types of cheese.
Right.
And the piece of resistance, pineapple.
Right. Now, I finish work about midday on Christmas Day. I'm working in the morning, so can I have your address and I'll come and share the Christmas pizza with you?
Absolutely.
All right, then. Well, may I wish you and all your listeners a very, very happy Christmas. Lucy, I hope you will get a very nice Christmas present, and I wish you all the best for 2007.
OK, thanks a lot, Peter.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. This is LBC. We're doing a Christmas special over the next couple of days, and I do have this. What could it be? She's got me like a gold-wrapped 10-inch cylindrical tube from Ann Summers, I'm guessing.
I thought that would be up your street, yeah.
Up my
Street?
street. So you shake them first to try and figure out what they are, right?
Careful with the batteries.
Oh. Shall I open it now or later?
Do you want to wait? You've got a challenge tonight, you know that.
Just a little something I know you'll like. What?
You haven't forgotten from last week.
What?
Okay, here's a little clue. These are Jacob's cream crackers.
Right.
I said to you last week that you couldn't eat 3 in 2 minutes.
Oh, come on, that's easy.
Well, there we go. Tonight is your cracker challenge.
Now, what are the rules of this game?
You have 2 minutes to eat 3 of these crackers. I have bought them brand new, hence my 1 hour 50 minutes in Tesco.
Blimey, she's using words like hence now.
And I wanted to prove to you that they were brand new, unopened. They were
Yeah.
Jacob's, not any brand.
I'm getting very suspicious about this.
And obviously we can time you accurately here.
Yeah. So they're Jacob, without mentioning any brand names, Jacob's cream crackers, are they?
Yeah.
Well, what's so difficult about that? Eating 3 in...
You're not allowed any water or anything to drink.
OK. Well, that still seems easy.
Fine, okay.
In 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Anyone can do that.
Okay, well, you let me know when you want to do it, and we'll get the old clock a-ticking.
The clock a-ticking. All right, I will. So, shall I start reading out the number?
Yeah.
You're always pestering me to read out the number, and I
know.
never, ever do it, because, I don't know, I just keep forgetting.
Well, I'm a pain like that, but I think it's quite nice to read out the number, especially at this festive time.
Yeah, all right then. What, giving, you know, 'tis the season to be jolly. Tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la.
Nothing on the telly.
The amount of waste that we produce at Christmas is absolutely staggering. Each person is going to throw away an average of, guess how many pounds of rubbish? Have a wild stab in the dark. That's right, 110 pounds of rubbish. That's almost as much as you weigh. Christmas will result in around 3 million tonnes of waste just for Christmas, which is enough to fill 400,000 double-decker buses, and equates to about 1/10 of all domestic waste generated in a year, just at Christmas. That's awful. This will result in extra demand for holes in the ground to dump waste in, and extra emissions of methane, a potent greenhouse gas produced by landfill sites, and cows. The potential for extra waste is considerable, given the shopping list for the average Christmas. This includes, in an average year, in England alone, 15,000 tonnes of Brussels sprouts. Equivalent of...
Who actually eats Brussels sprouts?
Oh, I like Brussels sprouts.
I love them as well.
What's
really
wrong
nice.
with you people?
Huh?
What's wrong with
You've
you
got to
people?
not eat them only at Christmas. You've got to eat them
Yeah.
other times too.
That's right.
And you can jazz them
They're
up
rubbish
if you want.
then as well.
They're
Jazz,
not.
jazz them up.
Jazz them up.
They're so bland. It's like eating...
No, they're not. They're little unctuous balls of earth.
Of cabbage.
Kind of, yeah. They're like concentrated... I like them a lot. Concentrated balls of loveliness. Sort of thing that you grow to like, whereas as a child you hated them, of course. But
I never hated them particularly.
well, it's just the look of them.
Yeah.
And the texture. You bite into it and it's all layers of ick. Yeah.
Do you think-
Anything that was green, unless it was peas, I didn't like as a child.
Okay. Peppers was the only thing I didn't really like.
Peppers.
Yeah.
How could you not like peppers?
I never liked peppers. I love them now, but
What, you mean green, like sweet green
red,
peppers?
and yeah,
Right. And yellow.
yeah, and orange, whichever.
Yellow and blue. Purple and orange and green. 15,000 tonnes of Brussels sprouts, equivalent in weight to 37 jumbo jets.
That's ridiculous.
I know. 175 million mince pies, which, if put on top of each other, would be 600 times the height of Everest.
That's a great fact. That's really good.
I hope you're writing this down. Recycle Now, which is an organisation which I'm guessing is dedicated to recycling, has been trying to encourage people to shop in a way that generates as little waste as possible and to plan meals to use what's left over. It says that more than half of the waste generated at Christmas could be recycled into other products. What?
How do we do that then?
Well, one of the things they advise is to open presents carefully so that the wrapping paper can be recycled for another year.
Okay, take note when opening.
Come on, who does that?
It is awful, the amount of wrapping paper, though, isn't it? I mean,
Well,
we
yeah,
have a black bag out ready. And you spend all that time wrapping it up to make it look all pretty, just to chuck it in the bin.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the present, though, isn't it? In fact, it's most of the present in a lot of cases. I bet the wrapping that you've wrapped this present in is a lot more exciting than what's in it.
That's a horrible thing to say.
It's gold lame. No, I can't. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's in there. It better be expensive.
No pressure.
You can.
It's all right. I'm looking forward to you eating your crackers. So
you could use Brussels sprouts as moth repellents because they do whiff.
Yeah. But they don't whiff when they're not cooked. They only whiff when they're cooked.
Leftover turkey slices as shoe leather. Are you going to be doing turkey?
Oh, yeah.
Are you cooking?
No, I'm not allowed. Mum's doing it.
Right. Yes, all right. Well, I won't be reusing this wrapping paper, if you don't mind. I'll just rip into it. Let's go with Salford. Hello, Tony.
Hi, Mike. How you doing? How you doing, Nick?
I am all right.
I'll tell you something, mate. If you've taken a challenge on there, mate, because I've done that.
You've done
with
what?
The crackers.
You've done the
crackers, yeah?
You've done the cracker thing?
Yeah, I can't do it, mate. I tried. I can't do it, mate. I was sick as a dog, mate.
Sick?
I was sick as a dog. I ate 2 and I was sick as a dog, mate.
Right.
No, you're taking on a challenge there, mate. A very, very, very big challenge there, mate.
Huh. Well, I can't imagine how it could be that hard.
Well, you go for it, mate. If you could do it, you bet you'd be a good one.
Okay. Thanks for the bad news, Tony.
All right, bud. See you, mate.
Here is Barnsley. Louise.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, Louise.
Hi, how are you, Madam?
I am all right.
Good. The shop's been busy. I think it's that time of year. It's nearly Christmas. And if you haven't bought anything for someone, you will grab whatever you can get and you'll buy it for them. And I think it's the same with food shopping. Like, if you run out of food before Christmas, you have to go to the shop, else you'll starve.
But really, there's only one day. There's only one day that the shops aren't open. How, how much stocking up do you need?
I know. I went to the shop and you could get everything, but I was queuing up for ages. It was like there was a storm coming, and everybody was just panic buying. That's the only thing I can compare it to.
Yeah, people are going crazy, as though the shops haven't been open previously. I mean, most of the stuff that you're going to use on Christmas Day will be like dry goods, like things that don't need to actually be fresh. So you didn't need to buy it all in one go for a start. And how much food could you eat on one day?
I think it's a Christmas dinner, isn't it, that people want, really, like all the turkey and stuff. So.
Why do we put up with turkey, by the way? Because at no other time of the year does anybody actually eat turkey. I mean, it's not like people actually like it, is it? I mean, who tackles a turkey on any day other than Christmas?
My grandma actually does beef for us, so...
She what?
She does beef for us.
Beef?
Yeah, instead of turkey.
Well, that's all right. People like beef. People eat beef every day of the week. But turkey, no one ever eats turkey. Yeah. Unless it comes pre-sliced in one of those foil-wrapped... Huh?
They're the worst.
Yeah, in one of those cling film packs of pre-sliced turkey product.
No.
Reformed shapes.
Oh, turkey bears.
Yes.
And when you were talking about the players getting fined for swearing at matches, it reminded me of something that made me laugh. Before a match was on locally, they had some singers on and they swore in the song and they got fined £50 each for swearing in a song at a football match.
What, singers?
Yeah.
How do you mean? They were part of the entertainment?
Yeah.
And they were swearing.
And they got fined £50 each, though.
Well, quite right, too.
Saying a bad word.
Huh.
So I thought that was funny.
Well, the story is that Marlon Beresford, 37, the Luton Town goalkeeper, 37. I suppose you can, you know, get a little long in the tooth if you're in goal, because you don't actually do much. Yeah. He became the first professional footballer to be convicted of swearing at fans when he was found guilty of using threatening, abusive or insulting words and fined £250.
It's a football match.
Well, the veteran who's played 600 league games avoided a banning order stopping him from playing only in recognition of a long and illustrious career. The incident... So, in other words, if he hadn't been 37 years old, they would have stopped him playing because he swore at fans, who must have been swearing at him.
Exactly,
right?
they'll be swearing back and probably throwing stuff at him.
Yeah, exactly. The incident occurred during an away game at Plymouth. The city's magistrates were told the full majesty of the law was brought to bear upon him for offending the delicate sensibilities of a soccer crowd.
Oh, what?
Where never a sharp word is heard in the football terraces. Well done, the British justice system. Meanwhile, if someone's stabbing you in the head in your own home and you call the police, they'll be too busy because they're attending football matches to stop people swearing at each other.
I've never been to a football match.
Well, I have. It's a festival of swearing,
yeah,
where occasionally a football match breaks out.
Yeah.
So how are you spending Christmas there, Louise?
We're going to see my family, my auntie and uncle, and then we're going to my grandma's for Christmas dinner.
I am sorry.
It's all right. Come 3 o'clock, we'll be throttling each other, so...
Yeah. My advice is take your own transport, because if you go with your parents, for instance, you go in their car, then you have to wait till they're ready to leave before you can go.
Yeah, I can't drive. I usually go and sit in the hallway.
Right.
I've had enough of them.
Sit in the hallway.
Yeah.
With the phone. I bet your granny keeps the phone in the hallway still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking at my new presents, that's what I usually do.
Why did we used to do that? Well, I mean, before phones became ubiquitous, before they were in every room in the house and everyone was walking about with them in their pocket, people used to keep the phone in the hall, as though it was impolite to receive a phone call in a comfortable and warm room in the house, where you would be actually sitting.
Maybe it's something to do. If you were upstairs, you could run and get it. If you were in the room, you could run and get it.
Yeah, but most of the time you're sitting, slack-jawed in front of the box, right? Which is where you'd receive most of your calls, in the evening. Why put it in the hall, which is always freezing cold with the wind whistling through the doorway, and there's nowhere to sit? It's just nuts. In fact, they used to have telephone tables with a recessed seat. Do you ever have one of those?
Oh, wow.
But they don't sell many of them anymore.
No.
Along with stereograms. A radio that you used to have to warm up for 5 minutes before it came on, that was as large as a sideboard. Massive.
I've got my DAB now.
That you also had this hinged lid on the top where you used to keep your records, your Carpenters and James Last records, where my mum kept them. My first introduction to popular music.
Oh.
So it sounds like it's going to be a delight over at your place, Louise.
Oh, I hope so.
Call us back and tell us how it goes. All right.
Have a nice Christmas.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Ta-da. Let's have we had a single call in London yet? Oh, I guess the town cry was in London, wasn't
Yes.
it? Here's one in Blackpool. Hello, Clive.
Hello, good evening. First of all, I remember you from another station, national station.
You're urging to tell me which one it is, but you can't remember right now.
Virgin Radio. The early days of that. And you're also on another one, aren't you?
Couldn't help himself. He just blurted it out. Yes, I am.
Yeah, Planet Rock, isn't it?
Oh.
I'm into radio, you see. I like radio.
Uh-huh.
I got surprised when I found out you were on there, on the LBC, when I went through the Sky Channel earlier, back in September it was.
Yeah, here I am.
Yeah, brilliant.
No one can believe it.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, well, it's okay, more or less.
And why I'm phoned up is because I've gone through the Sky Channel again tonight, and also I'm ringing up because I can pick it up on my DAB digital radio here in Blackpool. And I'd like to wish you, all your colleagues on LBC, the ones that answer the phones, the ones that do the show, put the show together, and all your presenters,
That's what they do, yeah, they put the show together.
The ones that sit around doing nothing.
Yes, there you go. Now you've got it.
Making your brews of tea and bringing your mince pies over this time of year.
Yeah, hey, where's my mince pie?
Pieces of cake, hopefully looking after you that way. and all the ones, all the technicians that keep the programme on air and LBC on air around the country and whatever, newsreaders, traffic reporters, and anybody that's on their own, all the emergency services right throughout the country as well as in London, all the very best for Christmas and the New Year.
Thank you.
Ode to Boobs by...
Well, let's get back to it.
It's Bolton.
Hello.
Oh, it's I'm a Little Teapot again.
How did you guess?
Do you know how much a teapot costs? I went into a china shop the other day. £1,300 for a teapot. Can you believe
You're not
that?
listening to me, are you? I'm not talking into a teapot anymore.
And if you bought cups and saucers that went with the teapot, I mean, you'd have to sell your house just to have a nice cup of tea.
I'm not...
Never mind about the cakes and the biscuits that go with it. Hey, where's my cake, by the way? Am I going to be getting a cake anytime here, Luce? I mean, tea is a bit wet without the actual cake that goes with it, don't you think? There's mince pies in there, and I haven't seen hide nor hair. Not a crumb in here so far.
Right.
Have we dealt with you yet? Another satisfied customer. I think he's called the wrong show. He'll be on the air tomorrow as well, won't he? Ian won't be here tomorrow.
Oh, no. What we did?
So the end-of-year lists are starting to appear, and the big internet companies have released what people have been searching for this year. And Britney Spears, the weather, and Bebo attracted the most searches on the internet, according to these top search engines. And you realise how out of touch you are when you start to see adverts for things on the television, and things like this, and you don't know what the product is. When a 30-second advert goes by and you've got no idea what the product, what they're actually trying to sell you is, then you realise you've turned into your own dad. But what's Bebo? Apparently Google say it was it was the #1 searched thing all year. Bebo, B-E-B-O. Does anyone have any idea what that means?
No. Do you want me to Google it?
Yeah, you could be one of the billions of people that have Googled it. Bebo, B-E-B-O. The Daily Telegraph website is a little more highbrow. They've gone for Iran, followed by Iraq, then Standard Life, then
What?
Kinetic. Q-I-N-E-T-I-Q. What's that? Kinetic, I guess it is. Spelt wrong. That'd be one of those giant companies that used to be called, I don't know, the Royal Mail. And they spent £100 million on getting some organisation to give them a new name, and they came up with Kinetic because it's about movement and it's about forward speed, and it says energy, but we can't spell it with a K. We've got to spell it with a Q because that shows that we're modern and groovy and happening. So they spelt Kinetic, Q-I-N-E-T-I-Q. That doesn't make them sound forward and groovy. It just makes them sound moronic, like they can't spell. Like a heavy metal rock band.
Is this Bebo?
If you're a heavy metal rock band, you must have at least 2 S's in your name and an umlaut. Bebo, what is it?
Well, this is Bebo.com.
It looks like young people looking for sex to me.
It doesn't look dissimilar to MySpace.
Yeah, that's where all the money is.
Right.
So click on one of them and see what you get.
Do people pay for this?
I've got no idea.
I've never heard of it.
Bands. Having had our last page deleted accidentally by Bebo moderators, this is our new page. Says, no idea. Oh, Lauren and Jess, who have songs. I bet they do.
It doesn't look very interesting.
No, not really, no. But it's the #1 search on Google. And it's Bebo.com. Why would you want to search something that's just BEBO.com? I mean, you just type it in, right? Why go to the extra added step of searching for where it's like...
But if you don't know it's going to be... If you just know you're looking for a Bebo site...
Yeah.
You might not know it's
Well, I would immediately try Bebo.com, because that's most likely what it's going to be. You know what the second one is? On Google? MySpace. Which is, guess what? MySpace.com. That's just silly, isn't it? They've done, number 6 was Wikipedia, which is wikipedia.com.
But that's harder to spell.
Yeah, but you're going to have to spell it if you're going to search for it. It's
If
like
you search it, they'll help you spell it correctly, won't they? Did you
Google
mean?
Google will. Wikipedia, irritatingly, won't. If you misspell something on Wikipedia, it'll just come back.
Just not found. Or...
Yeah, exactly. I find that really deeply annoying. I mean, they should help you out a little bit. I mean, if they haven't found it, then give me something that looks like it. That's just irritating. Because, you know, if you don't know how to spell something, you can't look it up in a dictionary.
Like Tallulah Schenker sister.
Yeah.
Because she has an extra S in, doesn't she?
SCH. It's a German thing. So, Yahoo looks like a bunch of Yahoos, actually, appropriately enough. Whereas the Telegraph search engine was Iran, Iraq, Standard Life, Kinetic. Do Kinetic. I want to know what they do. Vodafone, Afghanistan, global warming, NHS, pensions and immigration. That's a very serious list right there, isn't it?
Right, Kinetic. Have we got a kooky spelling, or...?
Are you listening to this show? Q.
Oh, that's the one. The Q-U-I-N-E-T-I-Q.
No, not Q-U. Q-I-N-E-T-I-Q. That's one of the silliest spellings I've ever... What kind of a business is this? Kinetic.
.com.
Yeah, go ahead. Reducing risk and improving reliability.
Oh, this used to be the DRA.
The what?
Defence Research Agency.
Oh, we better get off that site. There'll be men in
MI5 at
there'll
the
be
door
men
in a
in
second.
blackened helmets bursting through our windows. We'll all be marched into a field where we'll commit suicide. Get off that site quickly, Luce. They'll be watching. Shh. So while the Telegraph was all about that, Iran and Iraq and so on, Yahoo was Britney Spears, followed by WWE. What's that?
Worldwide Entertainment.
What's that?
Used to be WWF.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, before...
Now there's WWE.
Because the Worldwide Fun
yeah.
for the Nature won the...
Really?
The suit to...
Oh,
to
right,
keep
good
the
for
name.
them. Followed by Shakira, whoever that is.
Shakira?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Who's Shakira?
She's that pop singer.
That sounds like Kermit.
And she has silly lyrics in her songs with her...
She does,
Amounts of Plenty or something, or...
Did she do that one?
No.
Followed by Jessica Simpson from The Simpsons, right? I've got no idea who these people are. Followed by Paris Hilton. Oh, you've got to be joking. Why would anybody be interested in Paris Hilton? I don't get it. She's got like a face like a slapped cod. She's got no boobs, no personality of any kind whatsoever. She seems like a thoroughly vile person from head to toe. She seems moronic, to be kind. And she's got tons of cash. I mean, there's so many reasons there to hate her. Why is everybody falling over everything she does? I don't get it.
I don't know that they love her so much as some of the filth that she's produced on the internet. That's probably more what they're searching.
What that is?
Yeah.
Right. Followed by American Idol. Simon Cowell, seriously.
What's to look up on the internet on that, though?
I don't know. I imagine they have their own website with lots of clips of the useless dopes that were singing the previous week.
Oh, great. God, you'd have to be so bored, wouldn't you, to do that?
There's a thing called America's Got Talent, which is coming here next year.
This is
another Simon Cowell bleep fest. And you've got to go and look this up. Go on the website and look up America's Got Talent, because the person that won is... It's the most hideous thing you've ever seen in your life. Imagine Shirley Temple crossed with the kind of trailer trash that would show up on Trisha. I mean, trailer trash is an Americanism, but sort of... I hesitate to say council estate, because I have people ringing in shouting at me, but you know what I mean. Just awful, shell-suited nightmare, just hideosity like you couldn't possibly imagine, crossed with Shirley Temple. Screeching out a song of high sexuality, it's just totally inappropriate for her. And it's that one. I can't remember who did it. It was Millie Jackson, probably. Some diva like that. And I am telling you.
Oh, yeah.
That one. She's like 10 years old, and she's screeching this out, and, oh, God, I wanted to peel my eyeballs out of my head. It was so awful. But that's out of 260 million people, that's the one that won America's Got Talent. That Nightmare Fest is coming here, and it's all Simon Cowell's fault, who must be either one of the luckiest or men in the world, or one of the biggest geniuses, one of the two. I think it's probably the latter, isn't it? He presents programs that he devises himself and sells the format to other countries. He appears on and then reaps the
rewards,
the benefit of the people who take part in singing on his record label, and gets money from people voting on the phone for who's going to win the programme. So that's about 5 different finance streams just for the one idea. I mean, that just staggers the imagination, doesn't it? He's the cleverest man in the whole wide world. And what does he actually do? He sits there every week and it's the same thing. Oh, well, you sound like the Lounge Act. I mean, he could phone his performance in, couldn't he? Sounds like the Lounge Act of a 4-star hotel. Or it sounds like something I would hear on a ship. And that's it.
He's probably bored as well.
Oh, out of his mind, yeah.
But at least at the end of the day he can say, oh, well, that's another few million for me.
A few.
And the rest.
Let's go with, in fact, you know, and this is what so I'll just finish this story if I go for these calls, but, AOL briefly was, number 1 was the weather, and then dictionary, and then dogs, and then American Idol, and then maps. Google, as I said, was Bebo, which is the thing I'd never heard of before, but apparently it's, super extra double big. But everybody knows that this actually is not the case. This is what these companies are telling us was their biggest search requests this year, but that's not true. The biggest search request this year was followed by
the biggest whopper of the year.
And then
we're looking at 10 inches.
Followed by, and then
I want to show you something.
And then
it is so hard.
Followed by,
where the hell are my Judy Garland records, damn it?
That's what people are actually searching for, but they just didn't want to say that because it's embarrassing. Isn't it, Trixie?
Oh, God, yes. Well, unfortunately, anybody who Googles my name will get some really good things.
Try that right now.
Don't even go down that road, sweetheart, please.
Google Trixie.
I know, no, yes, exactly.
And we'll see what comes up. We'll get the first page and I'll read it out.
The first thing you said to me was, well, it was ages ago when I first spoke to you about, Trixie.com and all that. It really is a laugh. I mean, I was given that nickname so many years before anything like that ever happened.
Oh, it's a nickname, it's not your actual name.
No, you don't really think I'd give you my actual name?
Well, I mean, you're not crazy, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm actually rather intelligent, my dear. Intelligent enough to try and talk to you.
Well, intelligence and crazy aren't necessarily opposites. You can be intelligent and crazy.
Well, I guess I'm probably a bit of both, actually.
Okay, we just got Trixie up. Let me just see what we get here.
Oh, God.
Actually, nothing sexual at all, unless...
Nothing about sniffing armpits?
Not one single thing.
You've forgotten that conversation, haven't you?
Why don't we try the World Wide Web rather than just the UK?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just say Trixie.
You know what? There's nothing sexual at all comes up with Trixie. Apparently it's a movie.
Oh.
An Alan Rudolph film, whoever he is. So you're safe.
Thank you very much. But unfortunately, not really. Not with other people Google. And no, I've no idea what Bebo is or anything like this or we or... But what a stupid name for the post office! Good God.
Oh, I don't think Kinetic is the post office. There's something else now.
Well,
what? It's isn't it Arkiva, or aren't they the post office, or is that the steel company? I don't. It's hard to keep up. They change it every 10 minutes, don't they?
Yeah. Anyway, I did mention a few weeks ago that I shall be having pizza this Christmas.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yes, a friend of mine, Cubby and Broccoli, who's an avid listener of yours, by the way.
Cubby Broccoli.
Yes.
What, the Cubby Broccoli?
No,
No, because the cubby broccoli is unfortunately dead.
Dead, yeah.
However, no, this cubby in broccoli is a total film buff, particularly horror movies, and he lives in broccoli, so I call him Cubby.
Cubby broccoli.
No, Cubby. That's it. Anyway, he loves your show. Yeah, so we're going to be spending time, watching out for various horrors, sci-fi, horror, movies. Unfortunately, because I don't have space in my kitchen, I've got a lousy oven. We have to have frozen pizzas.
Oh, come
on. I know, it's horrible. And I have made pizza before.
Well, how big is your kitchen?
There are just no spaces.
Oh, please, Trixie, how big is your kitchen? Be honest.
I kid you not, yeah. There are absolutely no work surfaces.
6 foot wide.
To make your own
10 foot long, I bet.
You need that. But anyway, we're having pizza. I've got
a frozen pizza?
I bought some fresh ones. But
Christmas?
I know, but yes, and then ice cream and just totally Christmassy things. And it's going to be
good. Well, what are on your surfaces in your kitchen that there isn't enough room to roll out pizza dough?
Well, there's my kettle.
Yes.
For example, and there's my microwave,
which you never use.
Which I do use. It's got a little oven in it, so I'm going to attempt to make a pizza in it one day, a proper one from scratch. I really have made proper pizza in the past, but this flat is so tiny. I really mean it, so tiny.
That is such a weak excuse, Trixie.
No, it's not.
Totally.
Honestly, straight up, honestly, cross my heart, hope to die. It's a nightmare for me. And but never mind. I'm still going to have my favourite. One of my favourite foods. I love pizza.
I used to, like I said before I went down the before I went down the sensible route of actually making it everything from scratch, including the dough.
Yes.
I used to buy pre-made pizza and then scrape the toppings off and then put my own toppings on. I used to spend about £5 on one of those Pizza Express pizzas and then take off everything they'd put on.
Yeah.
So I was buying, it was like the world's most expensive bread, basically.
Yeah, well, precisely. Or just buy a margarita and then chuck everything on top of it.
Ooh, a margarita. I could do with a couple of pints of that right now.
Yeah, well...
Is that what's in here, Lucy? Is it a margarita?
I don't think so.
But, a large margarita, a freshly bought one, not from the pizza shops, but a freshly bought one, even from elsewhere, and then chuck your own toppings on. Loads of garlic, loads of olives, loads of this, loads
olives?
of that.
Oh.
Whoa, great. But whatever you what kind of pizza are you making this Christmas?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. I really want to know.
It's going to be, from the bottom, sauce, tomato sauce, which I will admit is not something that I would make, that I haven't yet made from scratch. That came out of a jar, but it's the only thing that's not actual real and, with my own hands. Yeah. I can get away with that.
Yeah.
Followed by, fabulous buffalo mozzarella and, yes, mate. You got your hand up, Alex.
Does it come from
No,
buffalo?
it's just in my sleeve, doing that.
It looked like you put your hand up. Do you want to go to the toilet?
Yeah, please.
The phone's ringing.
Is it that we have to go for a break? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no, there is that.
There is
I was
that.
honestly just doing that.
Trixie, can you wait? And
I would love to wait.
I'll give you my pizza recipe for the second time this evening. You might not have been listening earlier on, but it's that important that it's worth repeating.
I've been listening to most of the show, but I missed the.
Of course.
Sorry about that.
I will repeat it as I will be repeating my pizza right after this.
Everything is going extremely well.
So, where was I? Oh, yes.
The recipe.
From the base up, yes, a homemade pizza base with a little bit of honey in it, which I think makes all the difference.
What kind of honey?
Well, honey that's squished from a bee's bottom, that kind of honey.
Yeah, no, but is it runny honey, or is it solid honey which you melt?
Sounds like one of those 50s classics, doesn't it? Runny honey? Stop picking on me.
Yeah, I like that one, yeah. What kind?
Oh, blimey, I don't know.
Canadian or...
Manuka?
No, Manuka is quite nice, but it's not appropriate because it's a bit too...
runny.
No. Manuka honey's not runny.
But we couldn't use golden syrup, for example, or treacle or...
Golden syrup?
Ah, well, maple syrup.
No. Anyway, let's get past the dough, because we're never going to get to the top.
That's fine.
Then my buffalo mozzarella pizza, the very best, has to be. All these ingredients must be, because it's the season for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the celebration of the little baby Jesus, you got to really push the boat out for the
really
pizza.
Come from buffaloes? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's also squished out of a buffalo's.
Udders.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. The tricksy bit coming out.
Yeah, that's true. That's where they get milk from. Isn't that horrible?
So it's actually from the yes. Never mind. We won't go into it.
No, let's not. So after that is let me think. Oh yes, you have to have the onions and then prawns.
Can
which
I please ask about the onions? Do you have them coarsely chopped or do you have them finely chopped?
Finely chopped.
Fine. How finely? Seriously.
Seriously finely, yes.
Yes. Okay. What about garlic?
Yes, please.
Where do you put that? Do you put that with the? Do you put that on afterwards?
Chop it up finely and stick it in with the prawns with lashings of hot olive oil. Well, no, cool olive oil.
Okay, right.
Are you with me so far?
Yes, I'm very much with you, yes.
Do you want to get a pen and paper?
No, I can actually remember this. This is brilliant.
What's the recipe today, Raymondo?
You want me to go over it?
Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Jimmy Young used to do, like a recipe of the day. Oh, my God. I've become Jimmy Young.
I also remember his hair changing colour with those appalling special effects. And people kept asking on points of view, can we see Jimmy Savile's hair changing?
Not Jimmy Savile.
Which one?
Jimmy Young.
Jimmy Young! Oh, sorry. Okay,
Jimmy Savile did.
What's the recipe? Yes, okay, Jimmy.
Who would want to eat a recipe that Jimmy Savile had cooked up?
A Savoy pizza, Jimmy Savoy. Okay.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah, prawns that have been dipped in garlic and oil, followed by peppers, red, for the eating of.
Sweet or chili?
Yes, sweet. Oh, and chilies. I forgot about the chilies. You can't forget the chilies.
Red or green?
It doesn't matter. Whatever fridge scrapings you've got left.
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of scrapings.
And then, followed by cheddar cheese and parmesan on top, with the resistible piece of 2 pineapple rings right on the top to give it that extra sweet loveliness.
Now, does one have to have pineapple? I don't like pineapple.
You're not going to be eating it, Trixie.
Well, does that mean I'll never be invited around to your place?
Not now, not ever,
I love heavy
never.
rock. I love Led Zeppelin.
You like Led Zeppelin?
Oh, yeah.
Well?
And Yes.
You mean Yes?
I love Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you like Yes?
Yes, I like Yes.
Cool.
Close to the edge.
Yes?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And you and I? And you and I like Yes.
You and I. Oh, yes, definitely. I have listened to a certain show that she did. Yep.
Trixie, I can't believe that you're having frozen pizza at dinner time.
I know.
That's,
Look, I am really, honestly, quite serious. If I could, if I really had the surfaces, I would make a seriously huge.
That's like something that they give out to the homeless. That is awful.
I know, but it works. It works for 2 people who are avidly watching DVDs and having a good laugh.
So what's going to be top of the DVD list?
I don't know. We're going to sort that out tomorrow. It's going to be a mixture of. There won't be there's not going to be just sort of hacking off people's limbs.
Right, a mixture of happy and sad.
Yeah. The most important thing is we do something totally un-Christmassy.
You know that Michael Caine's cry of "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off" has been named the best British movie moment.
Really?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
The 1969 hit Italian Job also scored 3rd place for its car chase and was rated all-time top film in a poll of 1,000 stupid adults. The Italian Job was the all-time best film ever made.
It's about as bad as Will Young being the best-selling recording artist or whatever in Britain.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's not even close to being one of the best films ever made. That is awful, that film. I mean, there's precious few moments in that film that aren't really boring. Am I right, Alex?
I quite like it.
It's one of those films. When was the last time you saw it?
Me?
No, not you, Trixie.
Oh, I don't know. Probably last time it was on telly.
Right, about 100 years ago. And you've got this warm feeling that it's a great film, mostly because people keep telling you it's a great film.
It is quite corny and cheesy now.
Yeah, and it's over really quickly, and nothing much happens, and it's just...
Sounds like one of my husbands.
One of your husbands?
God, sorry.
What have you got?
And they're all ex-husbands for that very reason.
No. It was just
Can't
the
keep
first
up with you.
Just the first one, it's all right.
But I think we're straying into dangerous territory here, Trixie.
Yes.
So at this time of year, we'll have to draw a veil over that.
Thanks.
If I can use the
I'll
phrase.
be listening to you. It's been a really brilliant year. Thanks for the recipe.
Okay.
I will endeavour to do it.
And thank you for the music, Trixie.
You're very, very welcome.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
But that's just plain silly that The Italian Job is the best film of all time. I mean, it would be in my list of the worst films of all time, or the most overhyped films of all time, certainly, along with Bullet, which is actually a very cool film, but is not one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, it just flat out isn't. It has perhaps the best movie soundtrack, Lalo Schifrin, which is just flat out great. But the movie itself, all those squealing tyres and just kind of irritating. But The Italian Job, no.
Many people don't realise...
Trying to tell me that this is your act?
This is the top 10 of greatest British movie moments of all time from, I don't know, whoever did this poll, probably a movie magazine, right? They quizzed 1,000 adults and asked them which what they thought was the greatest British movie moment of all time. Number one was... the line, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off from The Italian Job. Number two was the Dole Cue dance in the Full Monty, which is a film I've still not seen. I must be the only person in the country who's not seen that yet.
Yeah, you probably are.
Then the car chase from The Italian Job, which was okay at best. Then the dance finale of Billy Elliot. The dance finale? I can't remember how that went.
You know, just, he does a great long dance-off sort of in front of his dad when he's rebelling, before he's allowed to go and audition for ballet school.
Then Black Knight, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the Black Knight. Was that the,
near the start, where he chops all his arms.
Oh, right. I'll bite you to death, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I'm amazed that Monty Python only features once in this. Because there's so many bits. Soldiers and Dead Body Pile from Zulu. That doesn't sound like a very great moment, does it?
No.
Then Big Pants from Bridget Jones' Diary, which is another movie I must be the only person in the country who hasn't seen yet.
I don't think you'd enjoy that.
The Thames Boat Chase from James Bond's The World Is Not Enough. Very hard to watch James Bond movies now after you've seen the most recent one, because they're all silly, aren't they?
I can't think of that Thames Boat one.
No. Hugh Grant as Dancing PM in Love Actually, which is, I don't know. If there's a film with love in the title, that's like warning bells to me. I don't know about you, Alex, but...
Dire.
Yeah, it looks like a chick flick to me. You must have seen that, Luce.
I've seen it. I was quite disappointed, actually.
And Rhys Ifans.
Rhys Ifans.
In his grey undies in Notting Hill. That was the 10th greatest moment of all time in the history of British cinema.
Does it say what?
Who
magazine?
Who did it?
No, it doesn't. And the magazine must be spitting with fury, because that's the only reason that they went and polled 1,000 people, so that they could get their little name for free in the newspapers. But they went ahead and printed it, but didn't say who it was.
They're all very lightweight films, aren't they? There's no...
There's no meat there.
There's no, like, Train Spotting or anything that's got a little bit of a...
I bet it's a woman's magazine.
No, because...
actually,
not with The Italian Job. Because that's not a woman's film at all, is it? Women are far too smart to be taken in by that lightweight rubbish.
And I wouldn't want the body parts bit either.
No, pile of bodies in Zulu. I mean, Zulu is not a film that I've ever sort of sat through, because who wants to? But Michael Caine was in that as well, wasn't he? He features twice. Something about Michael Caine that I find a bit... I just can't look at him. Especially these days. His face and his eyes. His eyes seem to be yellow.
Really?
Yeah, and when he's up close on the screen, I'm recoiling.
Oh dear.
Well, that's just a small problem of
Are
my
they
own.
yellow like the cracker
like a Jacob's
packet?
Green cracker yellow.
I think you're putting it off. But,
I am a
but
little
I
bit,
haven't
yeah. Well,
forgotten
that
about the challenge.
guy who called from up north who said he threw up after eating 2.
Oh, you won't be sick. No, I've done it, but I couldn't do it. But I've given it a good go. You won't be sick.
Hey, Robert.
Hello.
Hey, Robert.
I went as Shirley Bassey a couple of weeks ago, so I'm still in the mood.
Here's a guy who let's just go over this, shall we?
I am not.
You went to the History Boys
twice. Cinema, once to the theatre.
6 times at the cinema and
Yes.
3 times at the theatre.
Mm-hmm.
You went to a party recently dressed as Shirley Bassey.
Fabulous, darling.
You wear makeup on a regular basis.
Wear women's dresses. Went to the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, the Rocky Horror Show, yes. Dressed as,
a tart.
A tart, yes. And whenever he's looking for some music, he's shouting...
Where the hell are my Judy Garland records, damn it?
Why can't I find a girlfriend, Nick?
So what's up, Rob?
Well, first of all, I saw a very good film this week. It wasn't British, it was Spanish. It was called Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Mark Commode, or however you say his name, says the best film of the year. And I probably agree with him.
Mark Commode. That's the guy with the,
With the hair.
yes. What's going on there?
I don't know. Him and Michael Martin got the same hairstyle until he
Yeah.
Very odd.
Very odd. A little too much grease in the hair.
Very funny, though. Kind of very sarcastic, funny thing going on there.
With subtitles, right?
With subtitles. It's set at the end of the Spanish Civil War. It's very, very violent in parts. It's about this 12-year-old girl who...
Well, don't tell us.
I'm not telling you what's happened, I'm just telling you what the substance of the film is. I'm not telling you what's going to happen. Anyway, it's by I can't say his name. Guentaro... No, bugger. Never mind.
Quantilio Gogogoch. Oh, yeah, he's very good, yeah.
Yes. I can't say it. I'm not going to attempt, but he's very good. So go and watch that, Chris.
No.
Cheer you up. Along with History Boys. Right.
No, this time of year, I don't want to be thinking at all. I don't want anything that's got subtitles. I don't want to read, like, ever. I want to just let it wash over me.
Have you watch films with subtitles?
Yes.
So I tell some people, they just look at me as if I stood in something. It's like, ugh, what did you do that for? You don't see what's going on. I said, of course you do.
Well, some films, it's actually quite hard. Like there's a couple of French films I've seen, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but they speak so quickly that you don't actually have time to look at the picture at all. You just speed reading, because the words go by so fast.
Yeah, well, this is very slow. Very good. Anyway, I'm not going to brag anymore, I'm not getting paid for it. So Strictly Come Dancing tonight had 12 million votes.
Oh.
That's
12 million?
12 million.
No, that can't be true.
Well, I was stunned, and I made a mental note, it's definitely 12 million. Shocking, isn't it?
This rubbish is on the BBC, right?
Yeah. And they give they give, like, a statue, a prize thing at the end to the winner. And it's the tackiest looking thing you've ever seen. It's a disco ball on a stand with Strictly Come Dancing written on it.
Hey, that could actually be what's in this tube that Lucy's given me as a Christmas present.
Let's hope.
It's about 2 inches across and about how long would you say that was?
We're looking at 10 inches.
Other ideas written on a card.
I haven't opened it yet. I'll open it in a moment.
We get to enjoy it later on.
Yes.
Do you think there'll be much in the papers tomorrow, Christmas Eve?
You know what? I bet there's absolutely nothing at all. I was thinking this as I came in. I'm curious to find out what's going to be on the papers, in the paper, because we'll get them in about 20 minutes, hopefully.
This is one that confuses me, and I've been checking a few websites recently. Christmas Day, there isn't any newspapers at all.
No.
So that means they don't work Christmas Eve, presumably. For Boxing Day, there are newspapers, which must mean they work
Christmas Day.
Unless they're writing it 2 days in advance.
That's, well, I bet that the newspapers tomorrow are full of precious little news. It'll mostly be lists of the best and worst things of the year,
Will we be having the Nick Abbott Review of the Year?
Well, I've got I've got some stories of, like, Dope of the Year and Letter to the Sun of the Year and Court Ruling of the Year, Relationship Shock of the Year, and Biggest Waste of Time and Money of the Year. That's what I've got,
all to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
You're breathless with anticipation.
Santa's coming around, emptying his sack all over the world tomorrow night.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. So, what's he provided with our festive television?
Nothing.
The Queen's Speech. Top of the Pops is coming back.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? They say, we're stopping Top of the Pops. Problem is, you watch Top of the Pops 2 with Steve Wright, and you realise, hang on, they haven't stopped it because there are new performances on that programme. They just carried it on.
Huh.
So, yeah, that's back. And all the best from Dennis Norden. Something to look forward to.
Dennis Norden. Oh, the bloke with the clipboard.
Do you know what? He's like 80 and still gets one of the highest rated programmes on television.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's not because of Dennis Norden. It's because of people falling on their arse.
Well, it's his last one this Christmas. He's retiring and probably die soon, so...
He could have 20 years of...
That's soon to me. In 20 years' time, Nick, I won't even be your age. Think of that. And the best one, This Life. 10 years on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was happy not to watch that when it first came out, and I'll be repeating my actions the second time around.
Silly, silly man. You're missing out on cultural...
This Life.
And you would be at the ideal age when it came out, first of all. You know, I'm sure, you know...
Yeah, well, I tried it. It's just a bunch of whining people moaning about, I couldn't be bothered.
It shoots you down to the ground then.
No, I'm the only person who is allowed to whine in my life.
Oh, there we are. And the best programme on, it's not really Christmassy, but it's Celebrity Big Brother. It starts on the 3rd of January.
Does it?
It does start on the 3rd of January, and it goes on for 3 weeks, something like that.
3 weeks?
Best thing about it is, unlike these other celebrity reality shows, they don't tell you who's going to be in the show until as they walk into the house. And the press is, like, full of ideas of who it might be.
Yeah, I thought we got the list already.
Yeah, it's never any of them. They always come up with, like, blimey, because George Galloway was a surprise last year. The only one they got right last year was Michael Barrymore. But it's like, it's really good. I mean, so far they've asked, like, the Archbishop of York, Stephen Hawking, Bella Emberg.
Right. He would be great on live TV, wouldn't he?
That'd be brilliant.
I thought they asked the Hoff, and he said, no way, Jose.
No, I don't know. Leslie Grantham they asked. He said no, apparently. Too busy.
Don't say it.
And the best one, which is the best rumour I've seen so far, is Mr. Kilroy Silk.
Huh.
That would be very good television. Apparently, children's television presenter Carol Lee Scott as well.
Who's that?
Grot Bags.
Pardon?
Grot Bags.
Grot Bags.
You know, it's 80s. A witch that used to be green. Fat.
Oh, what are you talking about?
He's a character from 80s television.
Grot Bags?
He was a character, is a witch called Grot Bags.
You know you can get them seen to on the NHS?
I'm sure. By the way, Trixie, I did a search as well at the same time.
Yes.
It felt differently to me, because under images, I'm getting quite a lot of...
I bet you are. How are you spelling it?
Well, Google have suggested I spell it Trixie.
Well, that's how we spelled it.
Click on images.
Oh, images, that's where we went wrong. Right.
That's it. And then you get a page full of interesting...
Mm-hmm.
A model, shall we say.
Models. Well, that's nice.
There we are. So when was this Shirley Bassey, people were apparently scared of me. Someone thought I was someone's mother. Who'd come along to the evening.
Well, so it was like a floor-length glittering gown you went in, right?
I couldn't get that, and I didn't want to get beaten up. So what I did was, I went in black trousers. I couldn't find shoes that fit me. I couldn't find a transvestite shop. So I just went in my trainers. I said, darling, I'll have corns, darling. So then I had a fur coat, £5 from charity shop. Wasn't real. A glamorous dress from one of the supermarkets. Various accessories from a pound shop. And a wig that made me look more like Sharon Osbourne. And I had the makeup as well, because, you know, we're not the same.
And this is the outfit you went out in with and not wanting to get beaten up?
I didn't get beaten up. I went into a rather, you know, busy place. We had a turkey dinner, which was disgusting. The sprouts were popping all over the place. What do people don't like sprouts? They're never cooked right.
Well, you do have to cook them right. They just have to be al dente. Dente or dente? Dente. Have to be just like, you know, just right. Yeah. Not crunchy, mine, but firm to the bite.
I was in one of the supermarkets yesterday and bought some food, and the queues were just like, what? Hours we have to wait to get served. And you're thinking, What's the difference between Christmas and any other weekend? There isn't any.
No, not really. I don't, but people just go berserk because the shops are going to be shut for one day.
I went driving today and that was a nightmare, just anywhere. When it's sunny and when it's Christmas is the worst time to go driving, because people just lose themselves.
Well, I was saying that I was really surprised going into the Tube in the centre of London today. It was kind of like a quiet Sunday. I thought it was going to be insane out there, but it wasn't at all. It was, relatively easy.
Well, I drove to the Brecon Beacons to get some meat, so to speak. Sorry, no stuff laugh. Yeah, and nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Right.
I don't get road rage very often. You know me, I'm a quite calm person.
And did you manage to get any meat? Of any kind?
Got quite a lot, actually.
Oh, lovely.
Poultry. Christmas. Don't like turkey. It is poultry. Anyway, I'll leave you now.
Okay.
Doodle pip.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Let's have Bracknell. Hello, Jethro.
Hi.
Oh, we're going to take a break now.
Can I do what Buckley says you should do?
Do what?
Bill Buckley.
What Bill Buckley says I should do?
One should do.
Oh, one should do.
If one's hit with a brake dilemma.
Go on.
Straddle.
Okay, straddle this.
Nick, hi Johnny, how are you?
Jethro.
Hi. Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about how to chat people up on radio whilst, ostensibly talking about food preparation.
You are?
How you phone into radio presenters and say, tell me how you make your pizza.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Well, I'm glad you asked. First of all, you get the dough.
Right. That's really interesting. Lovely. Tell me more.
And then you get buffalo mozzarella pizza. You know where they get that from, don't you?
Oh, tell me more. Is that cows and bulls? This is very interesting. Will you come round and have some pizza with me?
Absolutely not.
Ah, a rejection then. How sad. I've got the films, British films, British Jones' Diary. I've got it loaded on my DVD player. Do you want to hear the crux statement of Renée Zellweger, whatever her name is, which the whole film is about? Shall I play it for you?
What, is this Bridget Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, educate me.
I don't know if you can pick it up. I'll try my best. If it doesn't work, it won't work. Just hang on.
Maybe the mysterious Mr. Right I've been waiting my whole life to meet.
Do you hear that?
Maybe it was something
Mysterious
about...
Mr. Right I've been waiting my whole life to meet.
Yeah, that sounds like a film I don't want to see.
Yeah, Bridget Jones' Diary. Oh my God, how would anyone ever love me because I'm fat? Or I've got big pants on. I mean, I saw it and it's like most British films that come out. There's one British film that comes out, I'm sorry about this, once a year, and it's just upped. It's just big upped by the whole of the press, and most of the time it's a huge disappointment, and Bridget Jones definitely came into that category. It was definitely a girly film. It was all about how I would keep a secret diary about my neuroses, and that, and will I ever get Mr. Right? I can't remember. I was so disinterested with it. I can't even remember if she did get Hugh Grant or Colin Firth. I can't remember.
But am I right in thinking that she wasn't actually fat? She's like Hollywood fat.
Well, yeah, she's
in other words, not fat at all.
She's got sort of plumpy, rosy cheeks. And why on earth she'd wear pants that are like, virtually coming up to her neck? I didn't really fit with her character, But she had the neurosis in the office, is he looking at me? Who's looking at me? Who'll take me out? All that kind of stuff.
Right. That sounds fascinating.
Boring.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But listen, people must have forgotten we had a great director called David Lean who did Lawrence of Arabia, Bridge on the River Kwai, Great Expectations, and he actually got things called Oscars, I think, for those.
And then there was those two dudes.
Who did Midnight Express? The British director did Midnight Express.
Alan Parker.
I mean, and they did Mississippi Burning.
Now that would be a good film for Christmas. Midnight Express. No, Midnight Express.
Oh, it's scary. I thought it was based on true. It was really scary.
Well, that's right. I've never had the desire to go to Turkey since.
Or take cannabis through the customs.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not sensible.
Was it cannabis? I thought it was heroin.
No, I think he was carrying packs of cannabis on a belt inside his shirt or something, and they caught him.
All the way, he had to go through all that just because someone said,
"Want to score some pot?"
Exactly. Well, it was lots of people back in America, but the Turks didn't appreciate it very much.
No, they did not. And I think the whole world thought as one. Right, we're not going there. They thought.
Yeah. Yeah, because they do horrible things to you in those Turkish prisons.
Exactly.
Or they did. Sorry, they're probably reformed now, and I don't want to offend any Turkish listeners out there. It's probably a very, very nice country now.
Yeah.
And what about Full Monty? I mean, the whole basic story of Full Monty was we're unemployed. No, in a response to the competitiveness of Korean and Japanese steel interests, let's take our clothes off.
Yeah, that never really appealed to me as a film. All these films that are supposed to be the greatest, I haven't seen them. And the ones that I have, I'm thinking, no. Like The Italian Job. Huh?
4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Now, that is the biggest, the most overly hyped film of all time. It is also one of the most staggeringly rude starts to a film I've ever seen in my life. I mean, everyone says that, this is a work of rare genius. And you know what? The first 14 words in that film all begin with F. And they're all the same word. All the same small word.
Flip?
Something along those lines,
Right,
yeah.
okay. It was a vehicle for Hugh Grant and Andy Dowell, wasn't it? Andy McDowell, Will they get together?
And who cares? It was just, it was dull.
Notting Hill was the other meant to be a fantastic, brilliant one. Hugh Grant again with, who always plays the same character.
I know, yeah.
He's got no subtlety in his acting whatsoever.
Well, he just seems to, I don't know, he's one of the luckiest men in show business. He just seems to walk on and do him. Like he's accidentally stumbled onto the set, and they said, we'll just keep him in.
Sort of bumbling upper class.
Yes. With hair.
Yeah. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Just really don't know what... Oh, crikey.
In fact, I think his hair does most of the acting.
Yeah. And who was the big American superstar they brought in to bump the office?
Juliette
Julia
Lewis?
No, Julia
Roberts. Julia Roberts. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
She's another weird one. I can't look at her really. She's just got this face that looks like she's had all the fat sucked off her with a vacuum cleaner. I mean, there's just.
That's because she probably has.
It's like her skin is vacuum packed onto the bones on her face. It's like it's a bit uncomfortable looking at her.
Yeah. Well, she's not unattractive. She was because she was big in what was that? The thing about the hooker in Los Angeles.
Pretty Woman, yeah.
Pretty Woman. Well, she was quite pretty. And that was with the man who's always banging on about Tibet, amongst other things.
The Dalai Lama, yeah.
No.
On and on and on he goes. When will he give it up?
No, it's because he wants to go home. He's right. I imagine he writes the Beijing government all the time, say, please can I come home to my country that you've taken over since 1953? And everyone seems to have forgotten that, and that's why, what's his name? Richard Gere, isn't it? Richard Gere.
Yes.
Is the one voice in the world who says, this is incorrect and unjust.
Yeah.
And he's the only one who goes on about it, because I think everyone else, like Peter Mandelson and all other people, want to trade with China, because it's the biggest growing economy in the world.
No one's going to raise a finger against China, just like no one's going to raise a finger against Saudi Arabia, for instance, or Russia, because that's where all of our energy needs come from.
Yeah, and they're pretty big, aren't they, as well?
Huge.
Yeah. What about Alfred Hitchcock?
What about him?
Well, he was one of the greatest film auteurs
That's
ever.
an excellent, yes, of course, Alfred Hitchcock's not even in this list.
It's silly, isn't it?
Shocking. Who were these 1,000 adults?
Yeah. Anyway, what do you do with bechamel sauce? Do you layer it on very thick between the pasta, Nick?
Well, I don't really make,
lasagna?
No.
What about spaghetti bolognese? I'd like to talk to... Can I talk to Lucy about spaghetti bolognese? Because I'm sure I could do that in a really sort of suggestive, sensuous way.
Hey, Luce, there's a man here who wants to talk to you. The man wants to have a chat about Savoy. Have you got a moment?
Spag bowl, wasn't it?
I think it's a good ruse to take up, isn't it? I think it's a good ruse. I think it's okay.
I think Nigella Lawson has beaten you to it, mate.
Oh, she is delectable. Her food is delectable, and I could eat her as well.
She's delectable, yeah.
I better say goodbye, because otherwise I get boring, don't I?
Ta-ta.
Bye.
This is LBC.
12 o'clock.
Got any more challenges?
That's your only challenge tonight.
Keep them to yourself. Right, it's as near as Christmas as we're going to get, so I'm going to open my little present.
It is Christmas Eve now, after all.
From Lucy.
Might be a bit better than the last thing you were chomping through.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. It is a tube of sponges covered in chocolate with a smashing orangey bit in the middle. No expense spent. Thanks, Luz.
No worries.
I don't think I'll be eating anything in a good long while. So I predicted right. There's the papers weigh half what they normally do, and I bet there's precious little in them. Well, I'll take a couple of calls first, and then I'll delve into these. North Circular. Hello, Lionel.
Yep, that's me.
Lionel.
How are you doing?
I am all right. How are you?
Fine, thank you. No, what I had to I was driving around the North Circular and I got really angry. And I got really angry because your last caller had a go at Bridget Jones' Diary. I couldn't understand. And then I thought about it. I thought, the man just doesn't understand women.
Yeah, go on.
He doesn't understand women, because if you don't understand Bridget Jones' Diary, you don't understand that women, they wear the big pants to hold in their stomachs and to look good.
Is that true, Luz?
I've never worn them.
Never worn big pants?
Never.
It sounds, Lionel, as though you don't understand women.
Not hold you in pants.
Yeah.
I've worn big pants if I've wanted to be comfy, but not big pants like that.
Well, what do you mean, big?
Bridget Jones will sort of hold your bum and tummy in, so they're quite rigid when you wear them, so they hurt, basically. But that, for me, is not very appealing.
Would you buy pants that hurt, Alex?
Well, my pants hurt.
Oh, dear. Oh.
What do you want to watch Bridget Jones for, Lionel? It's a women's film.
It might be a women's film, but it's a nice film.
Nice.
And if you yes, it's a nice film. And if you like women, it's a nice film.
Right.
Don't you like women? No, come on, don't you like women?
That's a silly thing to say. They're 50% of the population. How could you not like women?
No, I
it's
like
like saying,
women,
do you like people?
No. Well, if you have that sort of attitude towards women, where you don't like them and you don't understand them, you're not prepared to know them. Well, that's the sort of attitude you come out with. Is you don't appreciate a good movie like Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah.
Terrible, isn't it, when I say that?
No, I think that's a ridiculous...
Are you a man's man?
A ridiculous position to hold, Lionel. That's saying, like, would you go out with a pink umbrella with flowers on it? And you'd have to do that if you liked women, because that's what they would do. Yeah, I mean, some films are for women and some films are for men. Some TV programmes just the same, like Prison Break, for instance, on Channel 5, which is coming back very soon, is about the most blokey thing I've ever seen in my life. It's all dark and hideously ugly, and people are getting stabbed left, right and centre. So that's not a woman's thing, it's a bloke's thing. But, women shouldn't watch it if they like men. That's daft, doesn't make sense. Am I right? Here's Tallulah. Oh, Tallulah.
Hello, you.
Hey, you.
Hey, it can't be that difficult to eat 3 biscuits in 2 minutes, man.
It's absolutely impossible. I couldn't do it.
You know what? I'm going to buy these silly crackers. Jacob, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be perfect round at your place. Crackers.
I'm going to try it myself. I don't believe it. But
well, the key is swallowing. See, you can cram them in your mouth, but you can't swallow them.
Well, I find out for myself.
Do it.
I will. And I will write a reportage about it.
A reportage? Oh, good. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to reading that. With pictures, I hope.
Okay. Well, but you once asked me what I'm like in this community of mine where I live. If I'm a bit sticking out with my budgie and so on.
Well, I think that is beyond question, isn't it? You stick out wherever you go, don't you?
Well,
with a budgie and a plastic bag on your back.
Oh, I've been in the local paper, and I wanted to give you a little insight of. It starts with the headline: "With Christmas almost upon us, we decide to ask well-known community figures." Blah blah blah.
You're a well-known community figure.
Well, there is among those 5 guys and girls, there's one member of the local society, 1 MP.
A local society of what?
society of this county where I live in.
Oh, okay. Which you don't want to mention. Good for you.
Exactly, yes. One MP, one member of the church, one member of the council, and me, plus the famous budgie.
The local character. Yeah.
And we were all asked the same question.
Which was?
Your favorite Christmas song, your favorite Christmas carol.
Oh, I have been forgetting to tell you. Tomorrow I'm going to bring in the most moving piece of music. It's a shame that you aren't going to be hearing this, Luce. This is the most moving piece of music I have ever heard in my life. Like a lot of people say, like there was this, your budgie is chirping its head off. What's its problem? Just happy, right?
No, he's saying I'm the boss, and I'm saying no, I'm the boss.
Right, well it's chirping because it's happy, I'm guessing. Because it doesn't know what it's saying.
No, I know what the chirp means.
I'm hungry?
Give me something to stuff my face.
Please let me out of this bag. Something like that. Where was I?
You were saying something about...
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to bring this thing tomorrow, because, you know, it's the season for, you know, carols and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if it actually qualifies as a carol. And it's a relatively short piece of music, and it's all vocals. There's no, instruments backing it up. But I'm telling you what, I don't know anything about music, but there's something about the chord changes and the change of speed, and, oh, it's absolutely breathtaking. It will reduce you to tears. It really will. It's stunning. And I'll bring that in tomorrow.
I hate crying, so I have to turn the volume down when it comes.
No, you will want to experience this. Believe me.
I hate crying.
I'll play it after midnight, because that will be Christmas Day, right? And that will be my Christmas present to you. The world's most beautiful piece of music. Tomorrow.
So what's your favourite... That is your favourite Christmas song, then?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it would have to be, yeah. It would be in my top 10 favourite songs of all time. It's one of the most moving things I've ever experienced. It's amazing.
We will all experience it. All you people out there, switch on at 12:05 after the news.
Yep.
And you will cry.
Exactly. That is my gift to you.
Do you want to know what my favourite song is?
No.
Oh, please.
All right, then. Hey, Tallulah, what's your favourite song?
Oh, it's nice that you ask. I believe in Father Christmas.
Oh, Greg Lake.
Yes! I do love that.
Greg Lake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it is all right. I mean, there's a lot of Christmas songs that you never want to hear again, and there's some Christmas songs which you're not allowed to play anymore.
Because?
Because the person that made them has done something that he shouldn't have ought to.
That is?
Well, you know what? And I bought these records when they first came out, along with everybody else in the country. But you're not allowed to play them anymore. It seems a bit silly. And it's Gary Glitter's records, whatever that is. What's the Gary Glitter Christmas song?
Say it again.
Which one is it? Help me out here, Alex.
Is it Rock and Roll Christmas? Was that him? Another Rock and Roll Christmas.
Another Christmas rock and roll. No, that sounds like Shakin' Stevens.
Yeah,
No, we don't want any Shakin' Stevens, but there's a couple of Gary Glitter songs, and there's no doubt about it. They are among the best examples of that genre of music that were ever released. You know, along with the Rubettes and Sweet, and then I start to run out. You know, that's that kind of a glam pop thing that was in the early 70s. I bought all of those singles when they first came out, and they were great then, and they're great now, regardless of what the perpetrator has perpetrated since. You know, if we stopped buying and listening, if we stopped listening to music whose makers have done something socially unacceptable, then there'd be precious little left to listen to, because where would you draw the line, right? If we stopped buying products whose manufacturers had done something socially unacceptable, well, we wouldn't be driving Volkswagens for a start.
My hands up. I have to say, in Gary Glitter's case, it's right to do so.
Right to do so what?
to do so, to say we do not want to hear anything he's done.
Well, I'm sorry, Tallulah, but that's a silly position to be in, because, and art is the same thing. I mean, artists are mostly nuts, aren't they? And if we stopped enjoying the art of artists who had done things that are not socially acceptable, then the galleries would be half empty.
But his case was so persistent that I think it's...
Yeah, but you know what? It's got nothing to do with the music. It has nothing to do with the music. It's like I said, if you take the Volkswagen, and I hesitated to start this, because now the phone lines will start to explode. I don't want one single call on this, not one. But if we stopped buying, like to say, Volkswagen, then... doesn't Volkswagen do Bentley? I think they do. They do. So you couldn't buy Bentley, and what other cars does Volkswagen do? I mean, they do all of the cars
They do Skoda now as well.
They do all of the cars that Ford doesn't do. So basically, half of the cars that are on the road, you wouldn't be able to drive any of them because of the associations with you-know-who. Right? The people's wagon. And so where do you draw the line in the sand? It's daft. So you've got to separate the art or the product from, the manufacturer. You have to. Otherwise, you just end up chasing your tail forever. Anyway, let's talk about something else, Tallulah. What are you going to be doing at Christmas?
Oh, you remember that I did the forecast for the airport cows. Don't go home for Christmas. Staying home for Christmas. You see, I was right.
What?
I wanted to print a T-shirt, staying home for Christmas. And it did happen. The flight at Heathrow.
That mystified me, because, you know what, planes come over mine, and they don't come in on by the pilots don't fly planes in. It's all done by computers, and I know this to be true, because there's for very sort of long-winded and complicated reasons, but anyway, there's a roof light on a building near me that reflects the planes going over, and the roof light is about 2 foot square. So in other words, it is reflecting a 2 foot square piece of sky. So when the plane goes over, and they do so like every 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
You hear that all the time.
And each single, every plane that goes over is on exactly the same path, so that the part of the plane is the same, that's reflected in this thing. So in other words, it's so utterly precise, the line that they're coming in on, that no human being could ever do that. So it's all on computers that they land, and it's all surely on computers that they take off. So why were they foxed by a light mist? I don't get it.
Oh, that's where you're coming from, man. You went a long way to get there.
I know.
You confused me there. I nearly thought I said something wrong.
I confused me. I tied myself up in a knot there, Tallulah.
You followed my path, because normally I'm the one who's blind.
Well, it's Christmas.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but you're absolutely right there. You're absolutely right. But maybe just in case the engine fades and the ice have to take over, maybe that's why they don't do it.
But they were sending out planes long haul. So why could they send them out long haul but not short haul? That didn't make any sense to me.
Maybe they were rubbing their hands and saying, yes, we haven't got an excuse to cancel flights. We always wanted to do that. I don't know. It sounds bizarre altogether.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah.
Very suspicious.
And then they say, we are very sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that, they said. Here's a tent. You can stand in there for 3 days.
Exactly, so there.
What a nightmare. You think you're about to leave this grey, barren, awful land to go to somewhere warm and hot, and you end up in Heathrow for 3 days.
And then comes Tallulah and says, I told you so. Yeah, the last thing you want to hear. All right, listen, I've got to take a break, but I'll talk to you later, all right? Okay.
Ta-ra.
Help find a missing...
We're running late!
One more call, then I'll do the papers. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Nick.
Joan.
Yes, Nick. Can you make that piece of music a bit late tomorrow?
How late?
Well, because I've got to get back from the carol service, the midnight thing.
Oh, the midnight mess?
Well, it starts at 11, so really I should be home by about 25 past.
25 past 12?
Yes.
Right, well, you know what? I might play it out of the news, and then I will probably be inundated with a wave of support and people crying at me down the phone, begging me to play it again, so I might do it one more time.
And what is it?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but it might be called and it sounds silly, and people are going to go, "You what?" like that when I say it, but it's going to be called, I think it's called something like "Oh Little Lamb."
Oh Little Lamb?
Yeah, but don't judge it before you've heard it. It is stunning.
Well, I want to hear that, and I don't want to miss out.
Well, you shouldn't miss out.
No.
You should pick your petticoats tails up and hot-foot it from the church.
Well, we'll be driving back, and I think it's going to take about... the time we get out of the church, the time we get in the car, the time we get back, I think, yes, about 25 past.
Can you ask the vicar to speed it up a bit?
Could do, couldn't we?
You could pray double time.
Trying a different church.
Is it the only time in the whole year that you will go to church?
More or less, yes. Yeah. I must admit, I don't like ordinary services anymore.
So it's actually just like a gig you're going to, isn't it? It's like a concert.
Well, no, it's
an experience, right? It's an experience rather than a religious experience.
No, it is. It's a lovely spiritual feeling because it restores your spirit. You know, when it all gets dragged down because of the shopping and the this and the that and the things that are going wrong, and then you go in there and there's beautiful singing and a lovely atmosphere, and you think, I remember what it's all about.
Oh, come on, what's religion got to do with Christmas?
It isn't religion. No, it's not religion, because I wouldn't say I'm religious, but what I am is very aware of the spiritual side of me.
I was being flippant, Joan.
Were you?
Well, of course.
Oh, I see, of course. Of course you were.
I mean, as far as I can recall, that's what it's all about,
I mean, the thing is, a lot of it is pagan anyway.
That's true.
Because it's the winter solstice.
Yeah.
And we're all saying, thank goodness the short days are over.
Hey, you know what? Isn't today or tomorrow the shortest day?
I think so, the 21st.
Which means, from now on, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to... every day, in every way, it'll be getting better and better.
Fabulous. You were talking about the planes.
Yes.
And the fog.
Oh, yeah.
It is a little bit strange. Because was this stewardess the other day, and she was being asked on some programme, why really, with all the equipment they have these days, why couldn't the planes take off and fly about a bit? And she said that wasn't really the problem.
What was the problem?
She said it was actually getting people back to their cars, the staff.
What?
And taking them where they needed to go.
Eh?
Yes.
Taking the... what do you mean?
Well, she said, the people that work on planes, the stewards and so on, it was getting them back to where they needed to go, or bringing them from where they were.
Oh, blimey! It's like the trains. The following trains have been cancelled because of staff shortages.
Yes, and she didn't say there was a real flight problem, and I thought, well, that's very, very odd.
Well, that sounds more like it. Like they couldn't get them from their luxurious 4-star hotels because they were all drunk at the time, so they cancelled a bunch of planes. Is that what you're saying?
Well, she'd said it was really the fog on the ground and travelling on the ground that was the problem, getting to the planes. And yet another person said, well, there was a difficulty because if the planes weren't going to come in exactly on time, then that sort of made a build-up, a backlog. So I'm not sure what the real reason is.
Yeah, because they got machines on planes now that can tell where other planes are and if they're going to bump into anything. Machines that go beep.
That's right.
Beep. In fact, they're the same machines that they hook you up to in hospital when you have a near-death experience.
Yes, you haven't had one properly, though. I know you haven't.
I have. I've had one today.
What do you mean?
Well, I thought those Jaffa Cake, those Jacob's cream crackers were going to kill me.
Oh, I nearly had a near-death experience.
You did not.
I could have, because I went down the garden, actually in my sandals, in my dressing gown.
I hope that you followed NHS guidelines on wearing your sandals.
And I thought, I absolutely must get the ivy, you see.
Get
you
the
know,
what?
Panic strikes, and you think, I've got to go and get some ivy.
Ivy?
Yeah.
Oh, the holly and the...
Well, I put up a lot of ivy around the place, you see, and every year I think, I'm not going to bother next year. And then I found myself going out looking for ivy. And anyway, off I trundled and hacked away down there. There was masses of it. And, great big bundle in the arms, and paddled my way back down the
Trundling and paddling. I'm getting a real vivid image of you shuffling about in your slippers and your dressing gown.
It was very wet in my sandals. And came indoors, popped it in the dining room, went back, sort of washed and so on, and then thought, no, let's see about this. So went back in the dining room, and there was this enormous great buzzing going on in there. And only a huge bee had been nestling in the ivy.
I saw a bee just outside my window the other day. How does a bee survive in these temperatures?
Well, I can only think that it was sound asleep, hibernating a bit, until I brought the...
Do bees hibernate?
Well, I can only imagine.
I thought they just died.
It was probably cozied up inside the ivy.
What is a bee? What's a bee baby like, by the way?
Oh my goodness! What an that's a shattering question.
You've got no idea.
Do you think they have babies?
Well, there's got to be young bees, haven't there?
I've never thought.
I mean, they don't pop out fully grown.
You see, when they say they tell you about the birds and the bees,
they don't.
They didn't ever tell me.
No. We know all about the birds, but what about the bees? Got no idea what they do. It's disgusting, probably. Covered in honey they are. Sticky.
Oh, that makes it fun then.
Really?
Well, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You were told? Right.
Yeah. No, anyway, so I missed squidging a bee next to my bosom, really. By, if I'd bundled that ivy up any tighter...
Yeah, you would have got a small prick.
No, you're being rude.
No, I'm not. I'm being descriptive, Joan.
That's what Eating Cream Crackers does for you, doesn't it?
Apparently, yes. I'm off my head now.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, well, listen, thanks a lot, Joan, and the best of luck. All right.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. It's Bolton. Hello.
Hello, I could tell you about the bees.
Hey, you know when I went to this China shop down on Regent Street the other day?
Don't talk to me about China shops.
It was the shop that, the Queen, he's got one of those plaques outside that
Listen, we're not going to get anywhere.
As appointed by Her Majesty the Queen, her own tea service she bought in that shop. They cost £856 for a tea shop, for a teapot. Can you believe it?
Your China shop incident. Hello? You're as crazy as me.
Hey, we're wacky.
No, I suppose so, yes.
So anyway, I was going into this shop, and it's £3,500 for a teapot. Can you believe that?
Bull thing.
And if you want a cup with a matching saucer,
what I've got to say.
You virtually have to sell your car to get one.
Listen, my name is Quincy.
All that for a cup of tea and a biscuit. Can you believe it?
No. My name is Quincy. I'm a little frisky.
Are you disappointed?
In the newspapers, we better get that in now because there's precious little time to go. We're running late. The Sunday Times. All the papers are a bit thin today. They cost the same amount, but there's nothing in them. And that bloke was right. It's an interesting point. There's going to be no papers on Christmas Day, which means that they will have been working on Christmas Eve, which sort of makes sense. But there will be papers on Boxing Day, which means that they will have been working on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Yes.
Odd.
It is. But I suppose, well, the interesting thing will be is if there are any sort of exclusives, I suppose, in tomorrow's papers. Because if there aren't any, that means it was all done in advance, so they're basically not working much tomorrow or Christmas Day.
No. OK, the front page of the Sunday Times. UN imposes nuclear sanctions on angry Iran. Oh, blimey, we're going to have to go to war with Iran now. We invaded the wrong country. Iraq, Iran. Somebody made a typo. It's as simple as that. It's the sort of thing that doesn't get caught with the spell checker. We were supposed to invade Iran, but we invaded Iraq instead. Sorry about that, because that's the country that's actually got weapons of mass destruction, and a leader who's called Mahmoud I'm Mad in the Head. That's actually how it's spelt. I mean, that's a sign. Alarm bells should be ringing there, internationally. Oh my God, they've got someone whose second name is I'm Mad in the Head. I mean, what more evidence do you need? Plus, Britain is facing the first increase in crime for more than a decade, and a 25% jump in the prison population, a leaked Downing Street report says. Confidential report from Tony Blair's strategy unit also attacks the police for failing to improve their performance despite big budget increases. Well, the reason that they haven't improved their performance is because the government has given them these targets to meet all the time. And they're saying if you don't meet these targets, then we'll put you over our knee and give you a jolly good spanking. So what they do is they go out and they arrest the easiest, well, like they arrested some kid for pushing over a bully in a playground. They arrested him and cautioned him, and that's going to be on his file for the rest of his life, so he won't be able to become what he actually wanted to be, which was a teacher. Right? Apparently this is an A-grade student, and has never put a foot wrong, so the papers were painting it. And now he's going to be cleaning out toilets for the rest of his life because he pushed over a bully who was picking on a younger child. And the bully went to the police and said, I was pushed over. And the police came to the school and arrested him. Why? Well, but principally because it was an easy crime to clear up, so that's a tick on their crime clear-up sheet. 100% success rate on that one. Meanwhile, if you're being stabbed in the eyeballs by someone who's broken into your house, the police are freshly not available because they're busy, fining footballers for swearing at each other in the... it's just mad. Absolutely mad. But the reason is because they've been set these targets. That's the reason. Because the targets are immovable, so they have to meet the targets, and so they'll just do it the easiest way they can, just like you or I would. Same thing with the NHS. They brought this thing out that said you can only be waiting in accident and emergency for 2 hours, or something like that, before you absolutely have to be seen. So, and I have this of inside knowledge, because I know people who work in the NHS, what they do is, if there's somebody who's bleeding to death on a trolley in accident and emergency and they haven't been able to see them in 2 hours, what they do is they wheel the trolley into the corridor so they're not in accident and emergency anymore. Problem solved. There's another tick, 100% success rate. And you're looking at me stunned. That is true. That actually happens.
That is awful.
Yeah. So that they can say, so the government can stand up in the House of Commons and say, well, of course, latest statistics prove that we're meeting all of our targets and we're doing tremendously well. Thanks for asking. But they're not. It's all a giant con that's being perpetrated upon us because they're not meeting. It's just stats.
Although I have to say, I've never seen them leave people who are bleeding horrifically. And they come and they do tend to look after them straight away. There's also been plain news in, by the way.
Oh, go on.
That apparently it's not really true what Joan was saying about them not being able to get to their cars.
Oh, good.
Apparently, what it is that the tower can't see the planes. And also they have to have double the amount of space when there's fog.
Yeah.
So it's normally 3 miles and now it's 6 miles. And the reason that the large planes can still fly is because they're Category C3.
Oh, yeah.
Which
they're very good.
Which means that they can automatically land and take off.
Right.
So they don't have to do it manually at all.
Now
so
that's okay.
That's cleared that up.
Yes, it certainly has.
So we all feel better.
Much, much better, yes.
Yeah.
Front page of the, let's have a look. The Observer.
Boring!
Has, here's Bongo with his silly, red spectacles on. When is this guy ever going to take his glasses off? Seriously. I mean, when he meets... Is he going to meet the Queen? Probably not. There's going to be, he's going to get it...
Did you call him Bongo?
Bongo, yeah. Have you ever heard of anything so silly? Bongo, the Irish rock singer and anti-poverty campaigner who played a leading role in last year's Live 8 concert.
Boring!
Which really was. The U2 frontman follows his compatriot... wait, I missed a whole section. Is to receive an honorary knighthood from the Queen.
What?
Sir Bongo. That's just silly. The U2 frontman follows Bob Geldof, who received the same award. The writer of Sunday Bloody Sunday will become Honorary Knight Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Boner himself. Seriously, mate, if you're indoors, take your sunglasses off. You look foolish. Am I right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you just look like a dope, don't you? Anyone who's got sunglasses on indoors, including you, Elton John, take them off. You look silly. I don't care what colour they are, or whether they're see-through or not. And it's sort of like, I know it's your thing, and that you're a rock star and all, but really, you're still a human being. Front page of the Sunday Telegraph. £1,000 fine for failing to update your identity card. Blimey, they're not even in yet, and they're already squirreling themselves away.
How long before we've got
rubbing their
them?
hands together to try and figure out different ways to fine us. Is there a country in the world that's more obsessed with fining its citizenry than this one right here? Hang on a minute. Britain's beleaguered armed forces are in danger of being turned by the government into a tin pot gendarmerie incapable of defending UK interests, according to one of the country's top military figures. And why you can't train a dog that doesn't know left from right. Like their owners, some dogs apparently are left-pawed and others are right-pawed. But a canine that doesn't know the difference is in trouble, according to new research. Dogs showing no distinct preference can never be trained to the same level as those that do. An animal behaviourist who obviously has plenty of time on his hands has just revealed. He conducted a survey of 270 dogs by watching which paw they used to get food inside a tube. His research found that 15% of dogs were right-pawed, 15% were left-pawed, and the remainder had no preference. I wonder how long that research took.
You've just reminded me I haven't bought a present for the dog.
What?
That's a bit loud, isn't it?
That was echoing. Suddenly it sounded like you had your head in the toilet.
Oh, I know.
That was a preview of Christmas Day.
I think Alex had turned it up when he went to heat up his pizza.
Pizza?
He's been eating pizza.
You're kidding?
Down.
Huh?
He's been eating.
You turned it up.
He's been eating old pizza here.
Is that right?
She's snitching on me.
He has.
Front page of the Peephole. Jade's Christmas Wedding in Paradise. This woman is... our fascination with this woman is just mystifying, isn't it? Big Brother star Jade Goody will wed her toy boy lover in Paradise this Christmas. Jade, 25, is to marry Jack Tweedy, 19, on a Caribbean island. Full story, pages 4 and 5. Can you even wait?
2 pages on it.
Yes. It's like the
Who's he, anyway?
I've got no idea. It's like the only aisles, the only product in the supermarket with 2 aisles are crisps. Exactly the same thing.
That's very true.
Yeah. Motormouth Jade Goody is to wed toy boy Jack Tweedy on a tropical island. The lovebirds are fleeing freezing Britain to tie the knot in a secret ceremony on a... not so secret anymore. On a Caribbean island over the Christmas holiday. Wouldn't you like to see her stranded at Heathrow? Excuse me. I mean, wouldn't she be making a scene? The Big Brother star Jade and her 19-year-old lover will be joined by only a handful of close friends and family.
And several paps as well.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to? I mean, wouldn't you pay a lot of money to be upgraded, or to be downgraded, in fact, or just to not sit in the area of the plane that lot is sitting in?
Dear.
Can you imagine being surrounded by them? No offence, but. And how long do we predict that that's going to last? By the way, do we give it 6 months? Perhaps it won't even get
Maybe
that far.
4.
4 months, we're saying. All right.
She'll have to get pregnant first, though. That normally happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, right after she's had a kebab. P. Diddy. P. Diddy. Is he aware of how...
quite quiet on P. Diddy front.
Is he aware of how silly he sounds? P. Diddy.
I think didn't he change back to Puff Daddy?
Puff, yeah.
Well, he was Puff
Puffy.
Daddy, and then he was P. Diddy, and then he was Diddy, and then he was...
Hasn't he been Puffy at some stage?
Puffy, and... is he aware of how silly that sounds? I mean... not just silly, but also a bit... fey. I mean, you know, puffy. I mean,
I might be wrong on Puffy.
I mean, that's just silly, isn't it? Do you want the bad news?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, the king of bling and a fashion inspiration to millions, oh, come on, has been heavily criticised for selling designer coats made from fur from, guess what? That's right, dogs.
Really?
Dogs!
Oh, dear.
The animals from China are killed using barbaric methods. Oh, good. Multi-millionaire Diddy, real name Sean Combs, has been selling the coats under his designer label for £122 each. A hooded snorkel jacket. What's that?
Sounds attractive.
It was being sold through a department store in America with an imitation rabbit fur collar, but when customers took delivery, they found that the jacket carried the wording, genuine raccoon fur. Tests conducted by the Humane Society of the United States, America's largest animal charity, found that the fur actually came from dogs. Found across Asia, well, they're called raccoon dogs, but they are dogs by any other name. Found across Asia, but raised in huge numbers in China, specifically for their pets. And then it goes on to tell us how they die.
Nice.
But that's
Why
not
would you put a fake rabbit collar if you're going to go to the trouble of making a dog fur coat?
Killing a dog to do it. Yeah, that's it's the Diddy way. Diddy.
So will we see Madonna in a dog coat soon? Yeah.
I'm going to send him a Ken Dodd video. Ken Dodd video to Diddy. Then see him change his name again really quick. Here's a couple of Noel Edmonds stories. Noel, I've been dumped, and there's a picture of him looking about 100 years old. Wow, he looks awful. You know, when he must have had about 3 feet of makeup on when he does that show.
He normally looks really hot, doesn't he?
He's looking harrowed and haggard. The deal's off for TV legend Noel Edmonds and new love Liz Davis. The Deal or No Deal star last night revealed how his whirlwind romance with the makeup artist Liz collapsed this week when she suddenly dumped him. In an exclusive interview with the News of the World, Noel candidly talked for the first time about his love life and how he's 1, heartbroken, 2, angry, 3, shocked, and 4, banking on a Happy New Year after putting in a cosmic order for a new woman. Oh, come on, Noel. I mean, you don't believe that trite, do you? A cosmic order for a new woman. He cosmically ordered a house in the south of France. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, so... Yeah, he wrote it on his hand, or whatever
it is. That's the little stars, isn't it?
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
So he cosmically wished it from the universe. He said, I want a house in the south of France. And he magically got one by simply going out and buying one.
Well, yeah, that's great if you've got the funds, isn't it? I'd be cosmically ordering things all the time if I had that money.
That's just silly. The News of the World. Brendan's a slime ball in sequins. Sex-mad Abby Titmus has put the boot into Strictly Come Dancing's Brendan Cole, branding him a slippery slime ball. Who's Brendan Cole?
He was in Strictly Come Dancing.
I know that.
Oh.
But aren't they supposed to be celebrities?
Well, yeah, well, why is Titmus talking about him? You know, she's all gone a bit quiet recently, so she thought she'd bring up him. And I bet it's, from when they were on Love Island together, about 4 months ago?
Abby admits she snogged him on her sofa, but says she stepped in to stop the Dirty Dancer making any other moves. And she reckons he's so camp, her pals have given him the nickname Mr. Slip-On Shoe.
What?
When you see him, you think, bare chest and sequins, that's not a turn-on for a girl, she snapped. Brendan, 30, raised temperatures with his raunchy dance routines with ex-Emmerdale actress Claire King, whoever that is, in the latest series of the Saturday Night Dance Contest show. That's on the BBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're paying for that.
Yep.
Strictly Come Dancing. I mean, really? Well, how can you defend that? How can you actually defend spending public money on that? Seriously. Go ahead and try.
I haven't watched the programme.
Me either. Nor would anyone in their right mind. We should boycott it en masse in order to teach them a lesson.
Well, it finished tonight.
All right, too late then. Here's the other Noel story. ITV bosses are trying to poach Deal or No Deal Noel Edmonds from Channel 4 by offering him £2.5 million a year. The big money deal, being put together by Michael Grade, would dwarf a rumoured 1.3 million being offered by Channel 4. He's famously short, isn't he? Do you think that they're having a crack there? It would dwarf the offer of being offered by Channel 4. 1.3 million by Channel 4, 2.5 million from ITV. Which would you have? It would be Grade's first big signing since his shock move from the BBC, where he was Director General. If he takes the deal, Edmonds will be earning 10 grand an episode. Well, that's not that huge. I mean, Jonathan Ross gets that for a 1 3-hour radio show with our money. Now, that is incredible. That should be on the front page of the newspaper, but it's not. Noel Edmonds. ITV can pay him all the money they like. It's their money. No one could care less about that.
So would that take over from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Or that's still going, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
And that more than any other show that I've ever seen, the success of that programme utterly mystifies me. I mean, he must have been given formats, so many formats over the years, Noel Edmonds, did he turn them all down? And this one came along and he thought, oh, right, yeah, I'll have that one. That'll be a huge success. I'll do that. I mean, maybe this cosmic ordering thing really does work, because who would look at that on a sheet of A4 and think, that has got a hit written all over it? Because it wasn't a hit in other countries first. I think this was the first country that did that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of people with a bunch of boxes, each of which has got an amount of money in the inside, and you open the boxes and you're left with the one that's at the end, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, you'd throw that in the bin straight away, wouldn't you? In fact, you'd shred it.
Best, maybe.
You'd shred it just to make sure that you never read it again. But he picked that one. Oh, that'll be great for my TV comeback, because that would have been a huge decision on his part. You can't come back with a failure, because that'd be the end. You'd never... I mean, not that he's really...
But all the best ones are simple, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, but simple, but...
I mean, I know, yeah.
I mean,
most
one
is
quiz,
really simple. There's no brain power involved.
Yeah, but well, there always is a little bit, because quizzes on TV that have worked in the past always have that shouting at the TV screen element about them. Like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? There can't be many more simple formats than that. But they have actual questions that people can, join in on, and they start so insultingly easy that the stupidest member of the audience can at least get one right, What is the name of the programme you're watching? What's this colour? They'll flash up. Stuff like that. And so there is a joiny-any element.
Yeah.
Like the Quiz Bit show on BBC Two. Same thing, general knowledge questions, and most of them are like that. Or, how much does a tube of Jaffa cakes cost? The Price is Right, that sort of thing. They're all things that people can shout at the TV. But how can you shout at the television to open a box? Because...
But Noel does say to them all the time, now, what's your game plan? And they say, oh yeah, my game plan tonight, I'm gonna do it this way, I'm gonna do it that way, these are my lucky numbers. Well, it doesn't mean anything, does it? They're
nothing
random
at all.
boxes.
Yeah, you might as well to take a video camera to people buying a lottery ticket.
Exactly, it's the same thing. Oh, I always keep the same numbers. Well, brilliant. I mean, why don't you just change them every week? It doesn't make any difference, does it?
You should never keep the same numbers when you're playing the lottery. You should always just have the machine randomly generate them for you, because if you keep the same numbers, that means you'll have to buy a ticket
every
forever.
Week. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be freaking out.
Yeah.
There will always be that possibility that if you don't buy it, your numbers might come up. So don't even choose the numbers yourself. If you're going to do that, you have to just let the machine generate it itself. Because, there's... that guy, he's a funny bloke. I don't know if it's the same chap who's always done it, but the guy who is the announcer when the balls come down. Oh, have we got 2 breaks to go? Just the one. And he he describes the balls coming down. Oh, that's number 17, and of course that's the first time that it's appeared. There's the third ball in the last 6 weeks, and like any of this makes any difference. It's random. It doesn't make the slot. And people are busy noting down. Oh, of course, number 17 came down for the third this week, so it'll probably come down second next week. So no. It's just daft. Let the machine do it, and then you can skip weeks, and you won't have to.
It's a funny thing to go and watch as well as a studio audience, isn't it?
Where do they get those people from?
You know, and have they made sure everyone's got a lottery ticket before they go in? Because can you imagine if you forgot?
They probably give them just to hype them up a bit.
Imagine if they won.
Is that show on the BBC as well?
I think so. Yeah.
Do they do a programme around it?
Yeah, I think so.
And what is that? What's the nature of that?
I'm not really sure. I don't ever watch it
because it's bound to be a really short programme, right? Because the only thing that people are interested in is the actual numbers.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they haven't come up with some winning format. They keep changing it all the time, don't they? I mean, if it's not Eamon Holmes, then it'll be.
I think it's. Is Dale Winton doing it now?
Oh God.
I think. Does he do a bit of a quiz around it?
Oh no. Dale Winton. He's going back to doing Supermarket Sweep. That's good. Put him on in the daytime when there's no possibility of me accidentally switching him on. The BBC, the home of Dale Winton and Graham Norton. There's a fright mare, if ever I heard one. But, where were we?
We were talking about the National Lottery programme.
Yes.
I think there is a bit of a programme around it, and I think there's a bit of a quiz, and sometimes they have the odd singing artist or whatever comes on. Bit of pop.
In other words, they need to just pad it out, because because if it only lasted the amount of time for the balls to drop, then that's no kind of programme.
But wouldn't that be okay? I mean, what does it matter if it was only a 10-minute programme? That's what people
It could
want.
be a 2-second programme, and I still wouldn't watch it. But it shouldn't be on the BBC, it should be on ITV.
I can't keep up with, there's so many different games as well now. If I go and buy a lottery ticket, I don't know what I'm buying.
No, me either. I've got no idea, and I feel like a dope going up and asking them to explain the world, what should be the world's simplest thing. I just want,
I
get
can't
the
even
machine to do
remember
the
how
numbers.
many it is on a ticket.
And I was going for the Euro one because I wanted to win £120 million, and I had it down. I had exactly what I would spend it on, down to the last penny.
Oh, didn't you get it?
I can't believe I didn't win. I paid my £1.50. Where's my £120 million? But of course, I was concerned that I would play the wrong game and only win £10 million, which would have been a nightmare. Can you imagine? We'll go away and come back.
Hello and welcome to...
So the last bit of the papers that I've got is the... do you know the Daily Mirror was recently voted newspaper of the year? What? Daily Mirror? How did that happen?
It's not your paper of choice, is it?
Well, I find it mystifying. Why is anyone's paper of choice? It's just kind of like... There's just something about the Daily Mirror that's just not quite right. It's a bit... It's like a student... rag, it's something that, well, I almost hate to say it, it's like something amateurs knocked up.
You've said it now.
It's like there's just something that's not quite right about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't agree with the politics of the Sun, and would never buy it unless I was actually working on it. Well, you've got to read the Sun because it's the nation's favourite paper. But there's a certain style and elan about the Sun. They pull off what they do really well. There's no doubt about that. And then you go straight from the Sun to the Daily Mirror, and it's kind of like going back in time. There's just something a bit fusty and musty and not quite right about the Daily Mirror. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just not up to speed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Even the title, where the Mirror, actual word Mirror itself, doesn't look right.
No,
it's a bit cheap.
I've got the masthead right here, and it looks a bit like 1970s, as though they knocked it up on a fax machine. Yeah, but it's newspaper of it must have been their turn. What was the newspaper of the year last year?
I don't know.
I think it was The Guardian, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Boring!
Yes, this shocking news about the soon-to-be Sir Bongo. He's at the centre of a tax avoidance scandal in Ireland after U2 moved their massive music publishing business offshore. The operation, which controls much of the band's fortune, was moved 6 months ahead of new Irish taxes on record sales and airplay. Irish politicians branded U2's move as a cynical tax avoidance ploy. This led to accusations that while the band urged the government to give more money to relieve poverty, they were denying it the funds to do so. Huh. Do you know how much their fortune is worth? U2.
No.
Have a wild stab in the dark.
Oh, it's just going to depress me, isn't it?
That's right. It's £460 million.
Good grief. That's staggering, isn't it?
I know. We're in the wrong business. If we could wear tight trousers and sunglasses, we'd be worth £460 million too, Luce.
Here we go.
All you got to do is have a nice tune. Which fits Bongo precisely, doesn't it? Phil Buckley's next. I'm back tomorrow.